On episode 1 of Blades in the Dark, the Midnight Runners, our crew here, known as the Midnight Runners, who are a gang of psychedelic mushroom growers and pushers who occupy the Barrow Cleft neighborhood of Duskfall. We got to meet them last week. We got to get a sense of this kind of weird little rat tag gang, very small, up and coming, new to the scene, but really making a big splash. Unfortunately, though, not big enough as it was. We learned, and the gang learned, from the Dusk Report, which is the local underground radio show, that there was a major meeting of all the gangs of Duskfall that was coming up in just 2 days, and that they hadn't been invited. So, they set about to try to do something about that, to try to make a splash, to sort of come out to play, if you will, and be known on the larger stage. They chose to do this by going to an exclusive fundraiser gala at Charter Hall University, the major university in the center of Duskfall, and getting everyone high as shit, which they accomplished by sneaking into the kitchen, well, Rust snuck into the kitchen, and swapping the mushrooms that they were using to make beef Wellington with their own psychedelic mushrooms. Not to be outdone, the rest of the gang, in full, fabulous party garb, went into the party and spied an auction where there was a sale of antique vases, so many fucking vases, being sold. They destroyed all those vases, which it turned out were not merely vases, but in fact urns. Urns that contained ghosts. This was being set up by a man named Flint, who is an old rival of Rivers, a man who was known for trafficking in spirits. With everyone at the party tripping balls and all the vases smashed, their gang leader, Dexy, had an idea to really make sure that they were known for what happened here. And with the help of the whole crew, she took the shattered pieces of pottery and arranged them on the floor to say the Midnight Runners were here. The gang then went back to their hideout in Barrow Cleft, had themselves a little party, had a few drinks, celebrated their success, and then a knock came at the door, whereupon Rust discovered a invitation, sealed in wax, that said, Brightstone, tomorrow night, can you dig it? So at last, the crew has been invited to the big party of gangs that's happening in just now about 36 hours. And that's where we are now. So it is going to, when we start, it's going to be the following morning. The big Congress of Gangs is happening in about 36 hours. And that's where we'll pick up. But before we do that, we have some mechanics to engage with. Blades in the Dark has a very robust system for dealing with how you get paid out from jobs and what happens as a result of them. And this is called downtime. So what we just completed last episode was, in Blades in the Dark term, known as a score. Their score being a criminal job of some kind or another. And now we're going to get payoff from that score. So if someone wants to volunteer to have the crew sheet open to kind of mark what you all get. So, your payoff. You are a tier 1 gang. Therefore, for your payment, you gain reputation, which is 2 plus your tier. So in this case, you will get 3 rep. Someone can please mark that. You got that, Turk?
Yeah, right. I
got it. And now, of course, there's money! Coin. I have decided, I'll hear argument on this, but I think we can call that a standard score. My idea here being that people are going to be ordering more mushrooms now, probably, after you've gotten the word out. So you're going to get some payment off from that. So I'm going to say standard score 6 coin. You guys can divvy that up amongst yourselves and then put some in the coffer. So I would say everybody take 1 coin and then put 2 in the crew coffer.
Dexy doesn't get it.
So how much... What's that?
Dexy doesn't get a piece of that?
Oh, Dexy is the crew. God damn it. She can. She has the ability to spend the crew coffers without having to ask any of your permission first. Something none of you can do. Okay, so... but you're going to lose 1 coin because you have to pay a tithe. You have a deal... Really, it should be 2, but I'm just going to do 1. You have a deal with the gondoliers to maintain the peace, and you have a deal with the butchers, which is where you're getting all these corpses from. I'm not going to fuck with the gondolier one. I think that's unfair because they weren't really involved, but you do owe 1 coin to the butchers for all the bodies that they've given you. So please subtract 1 coin from the coffer, the crew coffer.
Mm-hmm.
I should say, you can refuse to pay that if you want, but it will start a clock that will potentially lead to war with the butchers.
No, we don't want that.
It's like the only crew that you're on good
The
terms.
last thing that the Midnight Runners want is conflict with the other gangs. So we'll avoid that at all costs.
Especially the gang that gives us the bodies that makes us, allows us to grow the mushrooms. So, nah, we're good.
Hey, Colin, can I ask a clarification? So when you say 1 coin, is it an actual coin or is that just the word we're using for monies?
Yeah, monies. So, so a coin is 1 coin in Blades in the Dark terms is a significant amount of money. It is assumed that you guys have, like, petty money to buy simple things. Like, you have money to buy a meal. You have money to buy drinks. You have money to get basic stuff. But for anything that matters, like getting crew upgrades, getting enhanced weapons, getting all that, you need to spend coin. And a coin is 10 coin would be like robbing a bank. That's a lot of money. So 6 coin is a pretty good haul, actually. So that should be, you all get 1, and then 1 will go into the crew coffer. Okay, so that's money settled. How much is in the crew coffer now, Turk?
There's a total of 2 coins.
2 coin. All right. That's not nothing. That's decent. And you all have 1 to spend yourself. And now we have to deal with heat. Whenever you do a job, the law, such as it is in Doskval, will take notice. I'm going to start you at 4 heat. The description of 4 heat is loud and chaotic, high exposure. I think that pretty well summarizes what your last job was. It was pretty loud and chaotic, and you literally wrote your name on the ground, so, like, people know it was you. So that's 4 heat. You're going to get an additional heat because the situation happened on hostile turf. You were in Charter Hall, which is not your turf. So there will be an extra heat there, and then you're going to get another extra heat because last episode... Turk Qua Rust made a devil's bargain with me that resulted in an extra heat at the end of the game because there was a very, very nice cop who sounded eerily like you who will remember your face because you were just like a solid dude, And he remembers that really solid dude that he saw going into the kitchen right before everybody got high as shit. So that is going to be a total of 6 heat. Luckily, you didn't kill anybody, so that would give you another 2 heat. But no, you're going to be at a total of 6 heat. So that will not raise you up. Once that heat tracker fills, you gain a wanted level. You're not at that point yet. But you do have a decent amount of heat. So now it's time to roll for entanglement. Entanglement represents some of the consequences of what happened as a result of your last job. The entanglement is done by a simple d6 roll, but depending on your wanted level, it would be more d6s. Because you are not wanted right now, it is 0d. There's 0 dice. So in Blades in the Dark terms, that means it's like a disadvantage roll. So I will roll 2 d6s and take the lower one, which is more favorable to you. On these, high rolls are bad. You don't want to get a 6 on this. So if you guys are cool with it, I'm going to roll that for you all to see right now. And you will know, let's see, 2d6, take the lower. What do we got? A 2 and a 4. Okay. So your entanglement roll is a 2. Because you have 6 heat, a 2 represents either flipped or interrogation. Flipped means that one of your contact patrons or clients has changed loyalty to another gang. Or, what was the other one? Flipped or interrogation. Interrogation, someone's going to get rounded up for questioning. I'm not going to tell you which one of those it is. But it's one of those things that's going to happen at some point. So, I'm just going to make a note to myself for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, as much as I'd love to see River in an interrogation scene, I don't think that would lead anywhere.
That would be truly wild.
That would be. I was gonna say that would be the most useless interrogation for the blue coats. They'd be like, "Why the fuck did we even bother?"
You can't get information out of someone who doesn't
I mean, they would
know
toss
what
her
is
into an
going
asylum,
on.
and that would be the end of that. You'd never see River again.
Well, the problem is we need you. So we have to come rescue you.
Okay, so that is the end of that first phase of downtime. And now we move on to downtime activities. These take the form of scenes. If you want them to, they don't have to. In between jobs, our scoundrels need to do stuff to take care of themselves. You got to reduce your harm, you got to deal with your stress, you might want to work on some projects or maybe train. You guys have 36 hours between now and then. So when we begin, it is, I think it's like ass crack of dawn. You guys were out late, you came home, everybody had a few drinks, you party-hardied and celebrated your success. When Rust found that invitation, I think the rejoicing was all around. Dexy opened up a couple bottles of the good shit to let everybody celebrate. And now it is first thing in the morning, and all of you are definitely hungover. I think we see you all in the what we call the green room, which is the little area off the barn that has some couches and Soda Pop's favorite little soda dispenser with all of the fantasy RC Cola inside of it. And everyone is just sort of strewn about. Dexy is laying in like an armchair, but like the wrong way, like face down with her back like bent at a right angle. And all of you were just like all about the floor. And I think the first person to kind of like rouse is going to be Soda. Soda, where do we find you?
Soda is going to, let's see, I had Four Loko. Four Loko's gonna put you in places.
Fantasy Four Loko.
Yeah, no kidding. I think the place where Soda's gonna end up being is in the green room, which is the hangout spot where I think everyone started the party, but she's going to be, instead of like in a chair or on the floor, is gonna be like in the plants. She's just nestled around like a fern or something.
And you wake up to a little, like, at your cheek. And as your eyes flutter open from troubled dreams, you feel the little forked tongue of Patches just licking.
Hey, Patches. Yeah. Hi, baby. I guess it's time for me to get up.
Patches wraps. By the way, does Patches have a gender or what is, I don't know. What's the pronoun for Patches?
I think it's just it in this case, because I don't think...
I mean, yeah. I don't think it can reproduce anyway.
And it's also been Frankenstein, and I'm not entirely certain what parts were used for what. And gendering, for one thing, gendering a cat is very difficult, or sexing a cat is very difficult, because they're internal organs, so you're just like, what are... Unless they have little balls. So hard to tell.
I don't think Patches has balls, but no one really knows what Patches is. So.
Yeah.
Patches does the...
indeterminate.
Indeterminate gender. Patches... does its classic form of affection, which is that it wraps its like neck and hooded head like around your arm, and bares its fangs lovingly.
Alright, let's get you some food. I'll stumble up and get up and I'm assuming what food is going to be is going to go check the rat traps.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Gonna find one and be like, all right, there we go. Like, here you go, Patches.
Do a fortune roll, straight d6.
Okay. Oh no, roll 20. You changed your format. Why'd you do this to me? Right,
I know, I hate it.
Found it. A 3.
A 3. Oh, Patches is disappointed. I think there's just like a little mouse. It doesn't like
No.
not none of this good like meaty rats. It's just like a little guy.
Sorry, bud. I'll have to get you something else later. I know.
Patches like triumphantly does the kind of marches off in a huff, just like carrying the mouse. Just. You're not
Fair
my
enough.
real mom.
I take care of the bite I have in my hand that's probably venomous. Being like, ow.
You're immune to it by now. All the mushrooms, like,
Yeah.
nothing affects you anymore.
Still nasty bite.
And
Pour some
amidst
Four
all
Loko on
the, oh god,
Just sanitize the
kids,
Four Loko.
kids, do not clean your wounds with Four Loko. If you're watching this stream, do not pour Four Loko into open wounds. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what will happen, but it's not good. I'm sure. Whatever it is not an antiseptic. So amidst all of the hissing as you feed Patches, I think the next person to come to is Rust.
Yeah,
Where do
that
we
feels
find
about right.
Rust?
Oh gosh. Probably in some hay bales out back. Being real comfy.
Rust, you awaken in some hay bales. You are not wearing clothes.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. You're not sure where your overalls are, but they're not on you. You also see hay everywhere, and like amongst the hay bales, like a nice solid spot in the middle that's clearly been punched away, and it seems that you had yourself a fist fight with this hay bale last night, and you won.
Well, I'll show you. I don't think Russ is particularly, concerned about public nudity.
And who knows? She might be watching from across the river.
Who knows? Honestly, that's the thing. Yeah,
And you're sitting here
looking
hanging
over,
brain.
looking over across, just making sure more than stretch.
All right, do a force roll.
I can give it a shot. Yeah. Oh gosh. Just a d6. Yeah.
D6, eh?
I don't. Did it roll? There we go. 6.
Oh shit.
Oh, dang.
Oh shit. Rust, you look across the way, and in that same spot where you know that the gondolier sentries always hang, you see somebody up there, and you're pretty sure it's her. Now granted, you were pretty sure yesterday, and you were wrong. But this time, I mean, we, as omniscient narrators, know you're actually correct.
Mm-hmm.
And she is standing cross-armed, looking out. And Russ, could you describe this woman for us, please?
No. Yeah, sure.
She evades description.
Truly, how was one supposed to just find the beauty of nature? But we can try. There have been songs about appreciating people built like brick shit houses before. She was a brick shit mansion. Take all of your muscle mommy stuff you got from playing Baldur's Gate 3 and roll that into like bodybuilder, bar fighter, all the stereotype, just have them add all the shoulders together. Big shoulders, just like a very just a built person. I mean, really, there's muscles on every part of her. Which is interesting.
I picture like Ronda Rousey meets Karlach meets Brienne of Tarth.
Ronda Rousey if Ronda Rousey had shoulders.
Yeah. Well, that's where the Karlach part comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the same kind of build. Like, I even think like height wise, she's definitely a bit taller than them. She's got one of those. She got like the side fades with a ponytail kind of cut still, but it's always usually looped in. She looks frankly a little ridiculous in her gondolier outfit, but like that's part of the reason why he's so interested in getting her out of it. And I think she also has a lot of similar kind of fight marks and bruises, like a fighter, clearly a goon.
Yeah. And she stares across the way with her arms crossed, looking every bit as unimpressed as she always does.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to tell from here. It's very far away. You really can't see her expression. But with us being omniscient narrators, we can see that she pulls out a little pair of binoculars and she looks at Rust and we just see her go.
Yeah, he'll take a little bit longer to finish up stretching before trying to head back in and locate his own uniform.
All right. And as you come back in, just beginning to wake now is Cricket. As you look around, as Russ comes in naked.
He's also gone and quickly gone to the river and just dumped a bucket over his head. Done the hair flip thing with the little tussle he has.
Well,
So he's wet and nude.
I feel like Cricket at this point is used to anything. Having lived in such close proximity to all these people without really having walls. But I think she is actually near one of the beds where there are dead bodies. Doing their thing, growing our product. And I think she fell asleep trying to see if she could talk to one of them like River talks to them. So she's probably like on the other side of she's probably just like on the other side of a raised bed or something like that. So might not even pick up on
rolling a tune roll.
A what roll? A tune?
A tune.
I don't even think I have that, so that'll be fun.
Then it's gonna be a 0D.
Yep. No D for me.
No D for you.
Oh, that's a 1 and a 4.
Yeah, so that's a 1. Oh, you rolled D4s, silly.
Oh.
You didn't roll D6s. Try again.
That's better. A 3.
That's better. It's still a fail because it's a 3.
Yeah,
so.
But it's a better fail. Also, she was drunk, so I wasn't really expecting that she was going to be able to. I just feel like she would be like, why don't I get to talk to you as well as River gets to talk to you? Why was I only able to see you guys once? And I think she fell asleep, kind of with her hand, kind of raised up on the bed.
Here's the thing, though. You wake up in the morning and you're pretty sure that you talked to Ghost last night. You're pretty sure you nailed it. Everything is pretty. They said that you were pretty. They said that they wanted to be your friend. They said that River's gonna come around. Just give it time. Only problem is, of course, none of this actually happened. But that's what you recall from the night before.
I feel like
really you were talking to mushrooms.
Talking to mushrooms, but not talking on mushrooms is still a plus in Cricket's situation right now.
Fair.
So she probably has happy. She honestly her face is probably a little dusty, so she probably has a little track of where happy tears went down her face because she's totally convinced she had this really heartfelt conversation and they finally talked to her again. And
So sorry, alas.
it's fine. I
but
didn't take
as
anything in a
you-
tune. I knew it was gonna happen.
Well, you're thinking that you had this breakthrough last night, that you finally did the thing that you've wanted to do so much. The envy of your eye awakens. Where do we find River?
Well, for she unmutes herself. River, for people who just small, and I think she is asleep on top of the Fantasy RC Cola machine.
On top of the RC Cola machine. Wow.
Yeah, just half hanging off of it. But she sort of like sits up like a toddler who doesn't know where they are. And like it's bright, and so she like takes her really long, like sort of messy hair and just like puts it in front of her face and starts climbing down. She's wearing her sweater, her stripy sweater, but not her overalls. So she goes around looking for her overalls. But it's just like a huge sweater that goes down like to her knees, and is like looking around the room, trying to figure out what's going on. Sees Rust. Isn't it a penis? And then she keeps looking.
Okay, let's do... What would we roll to find your overalls, River?
Find them.
Find them.
I mean, obviously, it's a find overalls. Check.
I'm gonna say
Find
that
overalls
survey.
Yeah.
Survey?
Yeah, survey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Survey.
Survey.
Searching.
Survey. Try. This is survey. Try and understand what's going on. You know? Is this controlled?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the rules. Yes. Controlled standard.
All right. A 5.
Okay. You find your overalls. Where do you find them?
They are in the plant bed next to where Cricket was sleeping.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's your 5. That's your mixed success. You find them, but they're near Cricket.
Huh. And River starts to circle the point. You know what I mean? Like starts to like clock around, and like just sort of like watching to see if Cricket's awake. And when she sees Cricket moving a little bit, she like approaches cautiously and very slowly, so she could hopefully reach out and grab them.
Are you like?
And then she look.
You have to like grab them really quickly in case like Cricket bites.
Yeah. It's like it's like it got snatched. But like she gets close enough, and if Cricket like makes eye contact with her, River looks at her, and instead of saying something weirdly mean or aloof or whatever to Cricket, she says, "The air today tastes like monster teeth." She grabs her overalls and backs away.
You're like walking away. She's like, I guess it does. And just like it's almost kind of like smacking her lips, trying to see if she can like taste something on the air.
Mm-hmm. It tastes like monster teeth.
You say
I
monster
believe
teeth?
you. Cricket.
Monster teeth. Yeah.
Monster teeth. Okay.
The air today tastes like monster teeth.
I think Cricket also is going to have a moment too where she sees you grabbing overalls and she's going to make sure she's wearing her overalls and that you didn't just take hers. Just, you know.
I wonder.
I think you are. I mean, you tell me if you're not, but I believe you are.
I mean, do we usually just sleep in our overalls and just live day
Probably.
in and day out in them? Okay.
Probably.
I doubt we have many change of clothing, honestly.
So
I mean, we get
as
dead,
you all sort of
we do get dead bodies with clothes on them.
True.
Just a friendly
Yeah.
reminder.
yeah, oh yeah, that's
We
how you
could-
got your party gear.
We could have like I could find like a dude's big shirt to just like wear or something.
Or set of pajamas with stab
True.
wounds in it.
Yeah, if
But,
they
you know,
die
you
peacefully
gotta
in
ha-
their sleep, they have a nice set of pajamas on. I bet.
You gotta have
Was
your
it
you gotta have your
peaceful?
colors.
I mean, if we got stabbed in their pajamas,
It
was
was-
it peaceful?
It was conclusive.
I mean,
They didn't
that's
see
the
it coming.
goal. That's
was
the goal is to find somebody who died peacefully in their sleep that wasn't stabbed in their sleep, just like of old age or something.
It's true. It's true.
Then they might have
Ideally.
done the whole dead body release thing.
Nothing beats the mid-coitus ones that you put in the beef Wellington the night before.
They're
That's
so
that's
good.
primo shit.
River
But,
goes back
as
to
you
the
all
green
sort
room.
of-
River goes
Go
back to the green room, and she's like putting her overalls on and hopping around on one foot, trying to get them on. That's it.
And as you're hopping around on one foot, Dexy, who is passed out in this armchair, like again, like I picture this, like it's like the wrong way. Like she's in a chair, but she's like this, kind of just. And as you're hopping around, Dexy's eyes kind of flutter open. Her glasses are kind of like hanging off of her face, and she puts them on and says, "River, honey, could you please keep it down a little bit?"
Sorry, Mom.
Oh.
Tonight there's a party.
Good morning.
Tonight there's a party.
No, tonight there's a party.
Tonight there's a party.
No, River, there's a party tonight.
Yes. To the
No.
king. To the king. For the king.
Yeah, for the king.
Mhm.
Everybody, gather around. Rust, where are your clothes, honey?
I mean, that's a good question. I'm thinking on it myself.
Can I help him find them?
I wish
Maybe
you
Rust
would.
wants everyone to see his thing.
I mean, we've all seen
So
Rust's penis at this point, but it doesn't mean we enjoy it.
No, not his penis.
So there's something else you
What
like.
I'll
Is
get
it-
Cricket.
Sorry,
I'll
Rust.
get Cricket.
Is it
She
really
runs
cold
off.
outside or something?
Oh yeah, but you were looking though.
You disgust me.
River goes and runs back into the grow
I'll
room.
crack that hard shell of yours yet.
River runs back into the grow room and says, "You,
Me?
what's your name?"
Cricket?
"You're needed." She turns around and goes back into the green room.
Okay. She'll scurry after.
I'm gonna toss at Rust his shirt and overalls.
That you've
There
had
you
the
go,
whole time.
bud. No, I found them when I was getting finding the mouse. You go, bud.
They
You
were
shoved
like
them
in the
up
crawl space for some reason.
You shoved them up in a rafter.
That's a good spot to
Certain
keep 'em.
why you did it.
Well, hard to get them, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I had to jump for them, so yeah. But you are taller than me. I guess you're just showing off how tall you are. I don't know what happens when you're drunk, honestly.
I am pretty tall.
You are?
Patches comes up, carrying your underwear, Rust.
Oh, thank you, you sweet thing. Come here. Pick up. Just nuzzle with the cobra snout.
It gets a little. There's a little fang, a little, but
Yeah.
you're used to it. You know,
It's
it's just a
fine.
little
Already
love
a
poke.
fucked up nose.
And Dexy asks all of you to meet in the green room. Cricket, you come in to the green room, and Dexy is just standing up and just kind of like stretching. She says, "Oh, Cricket, good morning, dear. I need to look at your foot today, please. It's, you probably need some stitches, so if you could make time for that in your day, please."
Yes, ma'am. And she like just plops down and starts taking off her sock right then
Oh,
and there.
not now. No, dear. No, not now. No. I haven't had coffee yet.
Think it's gonna be okay to walk on for a while? She's kind of poking at it.
I think you'll be fine. Just a little clean it up and a few stitches. You'll be right as rain.
It tasted fine.
Yes, and we did talk about that, didn't we? We don't do that thing that you did, River, with the licking. That's not.
It's too late. I did it.
I know, yes, and we can't go back and change that, can we? But in the future.
What?
Don't do that. Don't do that thing in the future. Yes.
All right, Mom.
Do you have that notebook I gave you? Could you write that down for me?
She takes out like this little notebook that is just like crumpled and like badly beaten and stuff like that and dog-eared, and like she starts opening it up and you see all these weird drawings inside. Then she gets
several
something
of
that
Rust's
says there's a whole section on Rust's penis. And then she gets to the end and on a blank page she writes, "Don't lick Cricket's foot again."
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we had fun last night, gang. Thank you all for that. That was great. And I have good news. You all have the day off. We're not going to do any growing today. We're not going to do any of our usual operations. You have the next 36 hours to do whatever you need to do before the meeting. Just make sure that you're back here in time so we can all leave together.
What time is the King's party?
The King's party.
Tonight.
Would someone care to...
Darius.
Actually, like, it's 36 hours away, so it's sort of like tomorrow night, but yeah.
So, tomorrow tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow to... Yes. Yes? Yes.
Okay.
So, yes, do whatever you want to do. Don't get in any trouble. And that's all.
My best.
River immediately goes because she's, right now, go. She has no concept of past or future. And so she just kind of goes, but before she goes, she stops at Cricket and sees like the lines down her face. And she like gets uncomfortably close, like looking at them, and looks up to make eye contact with Cricket and says, "Your face is in jail and we don't have time for that." And licks her thumb and wipes the tears streaks off and then leaves.
Cricket, how does that make you feel?
I think first of all, she didn't realize that her face was as dirty as it was, so she's probably embarrassed, but then she's also kind of like smiling to herself. Like, the thing is,
that's the nicest
right
thing
now,
that River's ever done for Cricket.
Because also, like, if you think about it, like, Dexy is kind of like the mom of the group, but this is the second time that River has like tried to care more in her own way. But like, like doing the little like
and please know that it doesn't look much better. Like
doesn't know.
It was so dirty that it's like that's it.
She's not gonna look in the mirror. She's gonna be like,
damn,
so
Cricket, you got it bad.
I love it. I love them.
Dexy
love it.
Wait, Dexy says, "Wait, what do you mean?"
Huh?
Soda, what do you mean?
Well, isn't it obvious? I mean, Cricket went to the Red Light District to go steal a fish for River.
Oh, so the truth comes
looking
out.
away and like staring at like whatever is near her and like fidgeting with it as if it needs to be fixed.
Well, you see,
Listen,
Cricket was a little evasive about why she took the fish, but now that that's out.
I mean, listen, Cricket, honestly, I will say one thing. Sex with somebody who's crazy is crazy good. So, I'll let you know about that.
Dexy gets like a faraway look in the eye, like, Cricket, we don't have to talk about this if you don't want to.
Her voice is gonna like crack a little bit. She's like, actually, I was gonna ask, what if I wanted to work during downtime? What if I wanted to work?
You want to work? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I figured we'd get a bunch of people coming in and wanting to buy stuff. Can I go deliver things? Can I like what can I do? You're the boss.
Okay, no, you can. But please don't leave Barrowcleft. We have to stay where it's safe for now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice in 2 days.
If you say so. But before you go anywhere, I'm gonna have to take care of that foot.
Oh, you have time now? And she's just gonna...
Still haven't had my coffee, but I'll get to it in just a moment.
I'm just gonna sit here until you fix it. Enjoy your coffee.
I'll be right with you. And as you sit there, Patches comes up and kind of like curls up next to you, Cricket.
I'll just kind of be petting Patches whenever Patches tries to like love bite. I'm gonna pretend I'm like play fighting and like try to like take it away and like dodge and stuff just to see if I can outsneak a viper head.
Outsneak a snake?
Outsneak a snake?
Do a... Just do a fortune roll.
Okay. I'm gonna actually roll a d6 this time.
Yeah, helps.
Ooh, a 6.
A 6. Yeah, wow. You're surprisingly awake. And Patches is actually having a lot of fun. It's like you're it's almost like you're like a laser pointer for this cat right now. Like Patches is getting like zoomies, like going back and forth trying to...
That's the best compliment a pet owner can have, I think.
You're a human laser pointer. And as Cricket plays with Patches, we're going to go over to Soda for a minute. And Soda, it's now your downtime. It's your day off. What are you going to do with your day?
Okay, so Soda is a little similar to Cricket in the fact that she's like, what can I do? And so what Soda's going to do is she's going to go into the back and retrieve her long rifle.
Okay.
So she retrieves her long rifle and probably going to get her coin. Her monies, as that is.
Her one coin, or...
Yes, her specific amount of monies.
Yep.
And go over to Dexy and be like, I'm heading out.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna do some cleanup. I mean, we kind of created a large, we created a lot of noise, Dexy.
We sure did.
There's gonna be repercussions. I gotta go out there and do some damage control.
With a rifle.
If need be. Would you feel better if I took the pistols?
I guess that is moving in the right direction, in a manner of speaking. So, yes. Just don't get caught, okay? We're hours away from a very, very big moment for this game.
Don't worry, I'll be cautious. I'm not looking to off anybody if I can help it. I more so wanna... Do you really want to know what I'm gonna be up to, or, you good?
She thinks really hard about that.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do if it gives you peace of mind.
I trust you. Just be back here in time.
Alright, also there's a pot of coffee already on.
Thank you, love. And she pours a cup of coffee, immediately pounds the entire thing, and then pours another one. And Soda, as you head out, where are you going? What are you doing? What kind of downtime activity is this?
Alright, well, the downtime activity is that I'm going to be reducing our heat.
Ah.
But I want to reduce the heat the way that, like, you know, in a soda pop manner. Being a hound and everything like that. Basically, what I'm kind of hoping to do is get the heat off us a little bit by basically rediverting it to a different gang.
Oh, fun. Okay.
That's why I pulled out my rifle and my coin. It's I want to basically do is like I said, I'm not aiming to kill per se. Maybe wing a couple of like blue coats in certain territories to get their eyes on the gangs and the other gang there instead of us.
Okay. So you can do this any number of ways to reduce heat. All you have to do is sort of say what you do, and then we'll choose the appropriate action. And then you roll, and if you roll a 1 to 3, it reduces it by 1 segment. If you roll a 4 or 5, 2, and if you roll a 6, 3. And if you roll a critical, it reduces 5 off of your heat.
Okay.
So you're going to go shoot people?
Yeah, the idea of it, like I said, is I want to get the blue coats to focus on the gang in like their different territory kind of thing.
Okay, I would say Dexy. Now you can defy orders, but Dexy specifically said don't leave Barrel Cleft.
That's why I asked if she was okay with me doing or
okay.
To know. She said she didn't want to know, so.
So where are you going?
I forgot. I don't have the map up. 1 second.
Silk Shore is next door, Char Hollow, Charter Hall, the shitty area on the shore, I can't remember what it's called. You pick a spot you want to go to, and I will tell you what gangs you would encounter there. And you also might want to look at the crew sheet to see who you're cool with and who you're not cool with right now.
Yeah. I mean... If I get caught, I'm gonna bump us up to war with the gondoliers. The gondoliers really hate us.
Yeah, we're currently sitting at almost being at war with the gondoliers.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with the gondoliers. You know what? I'm gonna go the shitty place.
Okay. I can't remember what it's called. Hold on, I gotta find the fucking map.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have the map up either. Where is the map on the thing?
I don't know. Maybe that sounds like something a responsible GM would have put in Roll20, but...
I mean, it also sounds like something a responsible player would have actually looked up in the... been like, where is it?
Dunslow.
There we go. We'll go
yeah,
there.
Dunslow. It's a labor camp that borders Barrow Cleft. There's also the Coal Ridge, which is right near there. Yeah, I don't think you can really go to Dunslow because it's literally a prison camp.
Okay.
But you could go to the... Anyways. Oh, right across from Barrow Cleft, across from the Silk Shore is Crow's Foot, which is sort of just a slum that's ruled by gangs. That'd be a pretty... There's a lot of gangs in Crow's Foot. That'd be a pretty decent place to go.
Alright, yeah. That way I don't piss off maybe a specific gang, but just annoy all of them without them knowing.
Yeah, so there's... There you would encounter the Lampblacks, the Billhooks, and the Crows. Who do you want to fuck with?
Let's see. Let's go with the Lampbacks.
The Lampblacks. The Lampblacks were a guild that turned into a gang. They used to be the people that went around. They were the lamplighters that went around lighting all the gas lamps before industrialization came around. Now they're just a gang. Okay, so you're going to try to frame them essentially for some assaults and shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna divert some attention some heat over to them, basically. Get some heat off of us and transfer it to them.
Okay. So yeah, tell me what you do here. Tell me where you post up. So set the scene a little bit here. Crow's Foot is sort of like Lower Manhattan in the 1870s or something. It's like cramped tenements. It's a extremely poor. Actually, it's not extremely poor, but it's pretty poor. it has a little bit of everything that surrounds it. There's some of the illicit activities of the Silk Shore. There's some more of the kind of cutthroat butchery of the docks that's all around it. A lot of gangs kind of meet in the middle here, including the Red Sashes. I forgot about them, who are actually quite formidable. But it's just these crowded, short buildings. Everywhere you go in the alleyways, there's those like people hanging up like sheets all throughout. It smells of shit everywhere you go. Sanitation in Crow's Foot is horrible. It is just a nasty little slum, sort of almost like a favela, kind of like a Rio de Janeiro favela type setup. So what do you want to do?
Well, I'm going to lean into some of my like special abilities to sort of narrate how I'm going to go about this.
Okay.
Because the two things I took in particular were Scout and Sharpshooter.
Nice.
So Scouting allows me to gather info and locate a target. So finding myself a suitable blue coat in this area. Primarily, I'm going to be up on the rooftops for this. And then, because playing with the Sharpshooter is I can push myself to shoot at an extreme distance.
Ooh.
So yeah, to make sure that nobody sees me do this.
Oh, that's very fun. Okay.
So I'm just gonna do a murder right now. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, Silverhop's gonna do a murder.
I'm gonna wing him. I'm not gonna kill him because if I kill him,
I see. Just a friendly assassination.
No, because the thing is, like, if I kill a blue coat in the area, I'm gonna turn up the heat maybe a little too much, kind of thing. I just need them to, like, basically like kick in a hive. I need the bees to be buzzing over here instead of anywhere near us. But if I kill a cop, it's gonna be a little too much. So.
Yeah, that wouldn't end well. Okay.
But if you wound a cop...
So you're going to, you said survey or scout?
Yes, scout first.
All right, roll me that.
Okay, and I guess that adds me a...
I'm going to say this is... you are really good at this. I'm going to say this is controlled. I mean, no one sees you where you are. Controlled standard.
Okay, let me do controlled and standard. 2 and a 6, so 6.
Perfect. All right, Soda. You get up on high somewhere. It's very easy if you're good enough to be able to climb these little tents. They're not very tall, and there's lots of gutters and railings and fire escapes and clotheslines that you can climb. And you get up on top of a building, and you just sort of see what you see. You look out through your scope, and you try to take in Crow's Foot. Now, you've been in Crow's Foot before. You know that you can just spit in any direction, and you will hit a gang member. You will hit something happening. But you gotta find the perfect one. It's not just finding something happening. You gotta find just the right setup. And you see, as you look out through your scope, you see a street corner where there is a group of the Lamp Blacks. You can tell they have their usual, they wear like black like ascots and little flat caps like this. And they look like Dick Van Dyke in
that famous British actor Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, famous British actor Dick Van Dyke.
British.
And you see a bunch of them dancing and saying "Stepping time," and there's, but you see these guys on a corner, and there's, it's a very West Side Story. They're all just like snapping at across the street. You see across like kitty corner from them, you see some bluecoats, and they're eyeing each other. And you can tell, you know how bluecoats operate, that the bluecoats are probably thinking about if it's the right moment to go across the street and bust some heads just to make a point. These Lamp Blacks haven't really done anything yet, but it doesn't matter. This is Duskfall. These bluecoats are considering maybe we'll just go beat these guys up just to show them who's boss just around here. And the Lamp Blacks are looking back, and you can see them reaching under their coats and gripping like billy clubs and razor blades, like straight edge razor blades and crowbars. And you can see that this is a tense moment that's happening right here. It is about to simmer over, which would be just the perfect place to interject a gunshot to make things pop off.
Yeah.
So roll for that. I think that's skirmish.
Is it skirmish or hunt?
I can't remember the definition of hunt, but we'll go with hunt. Sure.
I put
if I'm
points in.
wrong
I put
later
points
on,
in
I'm
the
wrong
hunt,
later
which
on.
was the sharpshooting one, I think. So.
Okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care.
I could be wrong. Second, gather information about your target and shooting at a distance. Oh, attack with
Okay.
shooting at a distance. That,
Yep.
so does hunt.
Yep.
I think skirmish is like
skirmish would be
brawling.
my skirmish
Skirmish is-
pistols.
Yeah, that's up close. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
right.
I think I get a bonus to this because of my sharpshooter. So.
I'm
what's
sure you do, and I think you
is this
are.
risky?
This is risky. Great.
Okay. Risky, great. And because I did the scouting. Ooh, 332.
Oh my god!
No!
Oh!
Wait, you can push
A
yourself.
3?
Okay, so pushing myself allows me to do it again, right? Or
You roll
No.
one more die. You can push yourself to roll one more die.
Alright, I will push myself and roll one more
Spend
die.
the stress. That's 2 stress.
4.
4. It's better than nothing. Alright.
I didn't need to kill anyone, I just need to get them started, so.
Yeah, but unfortunately... unfortunately, my friend, you didn't want to kill anybody.
Oh no, I
But-
killed somebody.
My question for you is, are you shooting at the lampblacks or the cops?
It
The
was
blue
the
coats or the
cops.
lampblack? Okay. You see a mustachioed constable. It might even be the same guy from last night. They all kind of look alike. It's hard to know. And they're eyeing at the lampblacks. The lampblacks are eyeing at them. You can see, you can't hear because it's too far away, but you can see some words are being exchanged. You don't have to be a professional lip reader to know that someone was just told to fuck off. And then that guy's head explodes. Just explodes. You were aiming down. You wanted to just wing the guy, hit him in the arm or something. And there's just, in that moment, just a little breeze. Just a little breeze that just
Fucking
puts a
Four
little
Loko.
tickle. Little leftover tingle from the Four Loko. And there's just a little breeze that comes by that just puts a little tickle on your neck, which causes you to shrug and aim just slightly higher. And that cop's head explodes. And immediately they point, you hear a whistle go off, and they point at the lampblacks. The lampblacks charge at them, and there is a melee happening in the street. There is, even from here, you can see through the scope, just blood and just an absolute clusterfuck of lampblacks and blue coats just kicking the shit out of each other. And I imagine at that point you're like, well, time to go.
Yep, basically I'm like, well, never mind.
And with a 4, that will reduce your heat by 2, I believe. Yep. So knock 2 segments off of the heat. And did somebody do that, or?
I'll
the heat
do
thing?
it. I think
Okay.
I am.
And Soda, as you are going back to Barrow Cleft, you remember back, you've done so many wild fucking things for Dexy. And you remember Dexy just not long ago, earlier this morning, telling you know what, I trust you. And you remember how it wasn't always that way, but that you have earned Dexy's trust over the entire time that you've known her and the time that you've worked together. The relationship that you have with Dexy is unique amongst the crew, in that you have become this kind of lieutenant to Dexy, who she trusts implicitly. And we're going to do a little flashback here where we see a younger Soda. What does Soda look like just a couple years ago?
A couple years ago, so she still was, this would be like, she would be in about 19 at this point, so end of her teens. She's still really thin, like, that never changed. She's still super thin, beanpole and such, but she looked a bit healthier. She had more color. She doesn't have the blue lips that was going on, the blue fingertips and such, and, you know, doesn't have that perpetual fucking cold. And her hair was longer and tied back into like a ponytail, and at that time undyed, so it was just black hair. So just a little bit more fresh-faced and everything.
And we see you walking along the riverbanks of Barrowcleft, kind of down below the bridges, with your best friend at the time.
Harlan.
Arlen, was it?
Harlan.
Harlan.
Yeah.
What's Harlan look like?
Harlan would be probably like a fairly beefy black guy. Okay. With like, you know, shaved head.
Okay.
He was about the same, maybe a little bit younger than Soda, probably like 18, 17.
Yeah, I think he's pretty built. He's another working stiff, just like you know. He's, he works for his dinner. He's well put together, and the two of you are walking on the riverbanks with drinks in your hand, having a couple of road sodas. And as you're kind of like laughing and fucking around, Harlan sees a dead raccoon under the bridge, and he says, "What was it? Look at that! Look at that! Look!" And he runs over and he starts like poking it.
Dude, what's growing on that?
I don't know, man. It's like glowing and shit. It's like a fucking mushroom. That's wild, dude.
I mean, I've seen mushrooms before, but I've never seen them like glow blue. You sure it's not the Four Loko?
Yeah, you dare me to eat it? You dare me to eat it?
Fuck no, I don't dare to eat it, Harlan.
You dare me to eat it?
I can give you the shits.
Come on, dare me to eat it. I'm fucking hungry anyway. Dare me to eat it.
Okay, fine. I dare you to eat the weird glowing mushroom. Maybe the alcohol will give you.
Okay.
Okay, you got this.
And he like pops it off the dead raccoon. And he like takes a little Four Loko in his mouth and swishes it around, kind of gargles, and then just yucks the whole thing back. And he goes, "Oh, gross! It tastes like shit. Oh my god."
Well, it was on a dead mushroom, man.
I'm
gonna give you the fucking run. Dude, Harlan, what's up? You okay? Harlan, your lips are blue, man. Harlan, no, seriously, you okay? Okay, I guess you're okay. You look like you're having a blast.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god.
What, man? You're scaring me.
He starts crying. He starts just those waterfall tears just pouring down his face. And he's crying and laughing. Just, it's so fucking beautiful, man. Oh my
okay. God. If you need to sit down, man, come on.
No, I need to dance.
Shit, man, this mushrooms really fucked you up.
Oh.
Harlan? Harlan? What's wrong? Harlan, what? What? Are you okay? Hey man, stop playing with me. Come on. Harlan. Shit.
He's just not speaking or moving, but he's just on the ground, just twitching. And his eyes are bloodshot. but instead of like red lines in his eyes, they are blue. And his lips are completely blue.
I'll get Melvir. Just you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Harlan. Get up, man. Bud, come on. Get up.
And he reaches up toward you and touches your face. And the last thing he said to you was, "It's the most beautiful." And he never finished that sentence.
Soda, when that happened, you know, she doesn't know anything about medicine. She knows a lot about dead things, though. Being, you know, a hunter, she knows her friend is dead. And so, there's not much she can do. She can't lift him up. He's way too heavy. She'll just have to get someone else to do it. And she just sits there stunned for a bit and looks over at that raccoon with those weird mushrooms. And she goes to herself and was like, okay. And picks up the dead raccoon and carries it off.
There's still a few little caps growing out of it.
So she'll pick it up and carry it off to that lady who she does errands for, and, you know, who sells the fertilizer and the seeds and such, and bangs on her door. Hey, come on, Eileen! Come on, open up!
We're not open!
Dude, Eileen, it's me, open up!
And she comes to the door and throws it open. I said we're not open. What do you need?
I have this. And holds up the raccoon with the mushrooms.
And what is this?
I think it's an opportunity. And you know about plants. You're what's it called? A botanist?
Yeah, and we see this is a different Dexy. She looks much more straight-laced. She's not wearing her tinted glasses. She's just this lady in overalls in a shack, and behind her is just stacks and stacks of fertilizer and pots and seeds. What do you mean an opportunity? What?
These mushrooms, okay? My friend Harlan, you know, the big guy that I go around with, I crew around with, he took these and just died. He died. But before he died, whatever he experienced eating this was seemingly the greatest high. And I figure if anyone can figure out how to make this into something that can, listen, Barrel Club fucking sucks, okay? It sucks, and I hate always having to scrape and hunt down whatever I can fucking find, alright? I've been selling cat meat to the person who makes the fucking pies. Alright? Down in the slums. But I think this, whatever this fucking is, could get us out of this hellhole.
Where's the body?
Underneath the bridge. I was gonna go deal with him later. I can't on my own pick him up, so.
And she puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "We'll do it together. But first, come inside. I'd like to get some samples."
Okay. Sure.
Hey. And she takes the raccoon and puts it on the table and kind of just hugs you. It's okay. I'm glad you came to me. And she brings you inside, and you see her, like, kind of put her hand on your back and take you in, and then looks around outside and closes the door behind her. And as the door closes, we are back to the present day, with Soda returning to the barn, rifle in hand. And as we enter, we see Dexy. Well, actually, we'll flash back a little bit, just a few minutes before you get there. Dexy is sitting on the couch with Cricket, and she has your shoe off and your foot in her lap. And
she hasn't licked it once, has she?
She hasn't licked it once because we don't do that. We talk about this. We don't do that. That's bad choices. We don't make bad choices. And she has her foot in your lap, and she's wiped it down with some alcohol, and she has a little pair of tweezers, and you see she's kind of like looking really closely, like, oh dear, that's in there pretty good. Okay, this is gonna hurt a little bit. Just... And she like holds out her hand for you to squeeze.
Like the cushion she's gripping one of the cushions she's sitting on and takes the hand of Dexy and is like squeezing really hard on the other one and like looking away.
And she pulls out this big piece of glass that was all up in there. Oh, and there we go. Yeah, that was pretty up in there, hun. We're gonna need some stitches, but you'll be okay. You okay? Hey, you alright?
No. Yes. No. It'll be fine.
Is it more than just the glass in your foot, dear?
Stupid how I got it. I'm mad at myself. I want to do better.
Yes. Can we talk about that now?
Talk about
why you're so eager to impress River.
Sure, I need stitches. I think it looks fine. And she goes to try to like put her sock back on.
Yeah, it's bleeding through your sock.
She knows.
Cricket.
What?
I think you know that River is different. And if you're feeling something, I just want you to know that there's no guarantee that that will be reciprocated or even that River understands what that means.
I feel things for all of you guys. All of you are my family. I don't know what you're talking about.
You really don't know what I'm talking about.
Do I have to know what you're talking about? I don't think I want to.
Cricket, my dear, before you came here, you spent most of your life lying to everybody to survive. You don't have to do that here. This is safe. And yeah, we are your family. But if you don't want to talk, that's okay too.
That's weird.
What's weird?
Having people that want to stick around talk to me about this sort of stuff. Not a lot of people do.
No, that's true. Even the good ones. I mean, everything ends eventually, right? I mean, think about it. The marriages that don't end in divorce end in death. Everything changes. People go away, but what you have to pay attention to is, and what you have to hold on to for as long as you can, are the people who willingly choose to stick around, who try to fight those forces of entropy that are always driving us apart from each other. And for once in your life, you have that here. This is, we all care about you. So just don't question it, Cricket. Just embrace it. For as long as it lasts. That's what I do.
You're telling me that somebody might not even understand any feelings that I'm having, and that doesn't make sense anymore.
Well, that's a very unique to River problem. Look, we know that those are... Well, I wouldn't call River still waters, but she certainly runs deep. There's a lot going on under there, for sure, but I can't pretend to really understand it. She's different. She's different. You know that, I know that, so... Just know what you're getting into, okay? That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I don't know, but I do know, but I don't, but I do. Does that make sense?
And she kind of brushes your hair. It makes perfect sense, dear. And then the door opens and Soda comes in carrying a gun.
I'm back.
Successful?
Mostly.
I won't ask.
Quiet as planned. But I think the good news is I think the Bluecoats are going to be a little bit more preoccupied with something else right now.
Oh, I really won't ask then.
Probably for the best. Go over the cola machine and hit it and grab out another can.
And
seeing Soda Pop come back, I will put my foot back in Dexy's lap so she can start stitching me up. Because I kind of took it away for a little while when the conversation was happening. So
shit, you really fucked up your foot.
Yeah, she sure did.
You were walking on that all
yesterday. So
no, it's surprised you're walking on that all yesterday. You're tougher than I thought.
And as you guys, as Soda Pop sits down with her RC Cola, we see now as we pan around the room that Rust is not there. This is an assumption on my part because I knew what you planned on doing. Rust, where are you at? Well, Soda was out doing that. Where'd you go?
Well, you went to the... Well, it's the closest thing we have to a proper fighting gym. Because he's got to go blow off some steam. And I'm off to indulge in Vice.
Okay. So, you go to the fighting gym of Barrowcleft, eh?
Yep.
And, alright, so, this place is like this is one step above a dog fighting ring for humans. It's a kind of, it's outdoors, I think. It's just like a guy's backyard, pretty much. If anybody watched those old Kimbo Slice videos from the early 2000s, it's a bit like that. You're just in a dude's backyard. There's a ratty-ass wooden fence, like a high privacy fence that surrounds it. It's a little yard between a few buildings, a few squat little brick buildings. There's like tires and shit strewn about. It's just full of weeds. But someone has the owner of this little fight club has created just a very rudimentary, like, chalk ring on this dirt lot that's just got occasional weeds popping up through it. And the idea here is that you get in the ring, you choose your opponent, you throw some money down if you want to. People bet on it. Everyone stands around the outside. And if you get knocked down or knocked out or get pushed out of the ring, you lose. Now, in practice, oftentimes, the rest of the people standing around will push you back in if you look like you're about to go out, because they want to see a fight to the end. But if someone's clearly getting their ass kicked, they might just kind of let you go. But, Rust, as you come in, you see a friend of yours, Marlene, is in the ring as you arrive. There's a bunch of guys standing around the ring. Everyone's got beers in hand, and they're all just drinking and laughing, watching this fight. Marlene is on top of a dude, just pummeling his face into the ground. Marlene is not as big as our big gondolier woman, but she is imposing nonetheless. She's shorter. She's kind of a bowling ball of a woman. She's shorter. She's shorter than Rust, but she has this scraggly red hair, kind of like Rust, that's pulled back into like a tight bun. And she wears these big, like, knee-high, like, combat boots. All the rest of her clothes are pretty ratty, very barrow-cleft chic, like everybody else here. But she takes some pride in those big ass-kicking boots that she managed to buy with her winnings from the fights. And she's on top of a dude just turning his face into gelatin. And a bunch of the guys, as you come up, a bunch of the dudes are standing around. They go, "Oh, hey, Rust, how you doing, brother?"
Oh, doing all right. Figure I'd pop in for a beer and a brawl. So, you gonna hand me one, or are we gonna have a problem?
Well, we're trying to figure if we should step in to stop this one or just kind of let it go.
Oh, well, give it a second here. Marlene!
Oh, hey, Rust.
You working on the pudding there, or what? I mean, fuck. I like beating the face in just as much as the next guy, but, you know, you're getting a bit aggressive, aren't you?
Oh, don't worry, he's still breathing.
Oh, yeah, you're looking on fixing that problem for him, though, aren't you?
And she rears back and looks at you and says, "What you say, one more for luck?"
Well, it sounds like you're about to do it anyway, so might as well make it two.
You get me. And she stands up and she leans down, puts her ear next to him, and she pulls out a little compact from her pocket, a little, like, makeup compact, and opens it up and puts the mirror in front of his mouth, and you see that it just fogs a little bit. She goes, "Ah, see, he's still alive." Gets up and cracks her neck, and a bunch of guys come in and pick this dude up and drag him out. So, what brings you around there?
Well, I'm stone sober and, frankly, need to work off some stress, so I was figuring I'd come down here and, like I said, bend an elbow and bend an elbow.
That's pretty good. You got the balls to be fighting me today. You're going to take one of these?
Well, I figured you could take my balls plenty of times, but, you know, if you're down for another round.
You hear everyone goes, "Ooh." Oh, don't. Come on now. That was pathetic. Tell you what. How about we make it interesting?
Well, fuck, I mean, it's already interesting, but sure.
Would you say you put some coin on it?
Put some coin on it. I think that sounds like a good idea there.
We'll start small. I know your operation's not exactly a big moneymaker just yet, so just one coin, eh?
Oh shit, do I get a drink beforehand, or am I gonna have to fight you sober?
That's fair enough. First round's on me. And she just signals, and someone just appears with a drink, puts in front of you. A big fucking... Yeah, it's a brewski. It's a big tall boy. No, that's even better. Yeah, it's a glass jug of, like, some scrumpy. Oh, wow, he's really going. Holy shit. Oh my.
Oh my god, I did
sorry,
something.
sorry to interrupt the flow real quick. For Turk, you know that if you wanted to, you could probably do 2 coin, because you know that my character would give it to you.
I know.
So
Sorry, wow, there's a lot of water in me all of a
it
sudden.
was really method.
So method.
Alright,
So what you say? You ready, or do you need to change your tampon first?
flopping your lips a lot for someone who's supposed to be fighting.
All right, pretty boy, come at me.
Yep.
She pounds a pint and just smashes it on the ground. And the two of you get in the fucking ring.
Yeah.
All right, my guy. That's going to be a skirmish roll. It's going to be... Because there's money on it, I'm going to say it's risky great, because you win money.
Alright. Here's a roll. No bonus die, right?
Well...
I can't take any more
What's your
stress.
skirmish bonus?
2.
2. Could I give you a bonus die? Let me ask you something, and answer me honestly.
Sure.
Are you better when you're drunk?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like,
take a bonus die.
like, he's not in his head as much.
I think you being absolutely lit actually helps, so take a bonus die for that. Yeah. So 3d6?
3, 2, and a 6.
Hey! So that's a 6. Okay. So that roll, really what that was for, this is indulging your vice. How much stress did you have?
6.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so what that's gonna do, because that's not exactly how rolling dice works. So you're gonna win this fight. So tell me how this fight goes, my guy.
He's as he's like finishing the drink and they start talking, he's going to cuff both of his sleeves. The overalls, he's gonna unbutton them and then like tie them up and around his waist. Just so he doesn't give him anything to grab onto. Slide in under the post, probably get jumped and get sucker punched immediately, which Marlene thinks is really funny every single time they fight. And it starts very cleanly, very lot of testing, probing jabs, but eventually just kind of one significant strike across the ribs. Kind of, Russ manages to kind of lock an arm in this case, and just get a really good hit that Marlene still has the momentum going one way from her hit, and then gets it stopped. It's the kind of thing that even the fact that Marlene is really great, it's still going to take you to the ground because your brain shouldn't be moving in 2 directions at once. And so she'll hit the ground, and from there, I mean, basically the rules of the circle. It's unfortunately with an arm grasped and a dominant position. It's just a matter of hitting a few more spots in the chest before it's yeah, that's pretty well and sorted. But
yeah, you pin her and get a few good more shots in, and she's tough, so she's defending herself a little bit from it, but a few of those are sneaking in. You get her on the chin, you get her on the cheek, and eventually she kind of with all of her strength pushes back and tries to sit up, and she only gets to a half sitting position before she realizes she can't win this, and she grabs you by the back of the neck and pulls you in for a kiss. And then falls backward, and she taps the floor. She taps out.
I spit.
And as she kisses you, by the way, just so much blood.
Yeah, I was gonna say spit blood out. Like just not sure whose that is. We're both pretty busted up, and I'll squat and. Well, fuck, you're not getting easier to fight.
I don't know. I don't properly know which way is up right now.
Oh, your back's on the ground, so work from there.
She rights herself and says, "All right, well, fair is fair." She reaches into her pocket and flips you a coin.
Oh, you're sweet. Come on, and I'll help get her out.
And as you're walking away from her, as you're walking away from the ring, she just goes, "So, my place?"
Well, I mean, you're so... It's closer, and I don't think I can drag you all the way back to mine.
All right, and we're gonna now do the. So you won the fight and got money, but now we're gonna do the roll to indulge your vice, which is that you have to roll your weakest attribute.
Okay. I don't think I have really any points into attributes, unless I've done something wrong.
You should. Anything that you have any skill that you have at least one in, that means you have at least one in the related attribute for.
Okay. Then I have
worst attribute.
well, I have one in each kind of grouping, but prowess is definitely my best. I'd say it's kind of your choice between insight and resolve.
We'll do it a resolve. So you just roll a die, and whatever you get, your stress goes down by that much.
All right.
1.
It all came back from having sex later. You went down 4. You went down 4, then you went back up 3. Pull the muscle.
Oh, you poor thing.
That
All right,
feels about
so
right.
that only reduces it. I will say you could. Part of the mechanics of the game is that you can spend coin to do additional downtime actions. So if you want to spend that coin you just got, you could roll to indulge your vice again.
I'll absolutely do that. Go and get in some more fights. Get more drunk.
Okay, so. Or you can, by the way, you can just indulge your vice twice, because you can do 2 downtime actions, so you don't even have to spend that coin right now if you don't want.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I'll just give it another roll.
So just roll another d6 and. Please
5,
be a 6.
which...
Please be a 6. Oh, that was so close. If you had gotten a 6, you would have overindulged.
Overindulged, yeah.
All right.
Skin of my teeth.
Oh, that was. I wanted that so bad. Okay, so you clear all your stress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that. I mean, the 1 is from the fight. The 5 is from the sex.
Sounds good. Sounds about right.
And Rust, as you're like getting up to take a piss after a several-hour passionate lovemaking session with Marlene, you think back to one of your favorite fights. The fight that brought you into the gang. It was late at night, and Soda had been recruited by Dexy, though you didn't know any of this at the time. Soda had been recruited by Dexy to go find more corpses that could be used to grow mushrooms. At the time, the best that they could get a hold of was livestock. So for a short time, Dexy and Soda were cattle rustlers, essentially. And Rust, back then, you were just a humble farrier. Just cleaning out hooves, making sure the cattle were well taken care of. And it's late at night. It's midnight, in fact. And you're at the barn in Barrowclef. Not the barn that's our base, but the barn of your employer. who was a farmer named Meyer, who used to have you come by all the time just to check up on the cattle. You were doing kind of a house call that night. There was a cow that had gotten sick that he wanted you to check on. He was worried about. And then from the field outside the barn, you hear and like a miniature stampede of hooves. And you know that there is something disturbing those cattle.
Mm-hmm. He's going to draw his farrier knife out of its case that he has on his belt, give it a little test roll in his wrist, and start marching over there as quick as he can.
All right. You shut the barn door behind you and head off into the field. It is a very, well, it's always dark in Doskwall, but tonight there's actually a moon. It's still dark, but there's a bit of moonlight cast across this field. It is a scraggly, shabby field, like everything in Barrowcleft. And you can see silhouetted against the moon a young woman who appears to be trying, though not terribly successfully, to lasso a cow. And maybe, who knows, Soda, maybe you tried the lasso, gave up, and now you're just trying to push it.
Come on, seriously.
And the cow just sits. Like a dog that's being obstinate. It just sits down, just
I didn't even know cows could fucking sit. What the hell? Like, get up, you damn thing. Oh my god, you're so difficult.
Teach-en! That ain't yours.
Yeah, well, you don't look like the farmer, so I don't think it's yours either.
You like dumb or something?
Well, better than ugly like you are.
Well, like, Jesus fuck. One right after physical appearances. Guess I gotta make you just as ugly as I am, huh?
Oh, no, I can't eat nearly enough to get to that level.
Oh, I'll be eating something. That cow's gonna make it for you, and I'm gonna start trudging over.
Really, bud? You're gonna cause me some problems now, are you?
Oh, you're gonna cause a lot more than problems. Hope you're not too attached to any of your fingers.
She'll, pull one of her pistols out.
Oh shit, she's got a shooter.
And be like, I'm gonna tell you right now, bud. Turn around.
Thought you thought I was ugly. Now you wanna look at my ass? Fucking make up your mind.
Depends. You got a good ass? Why don't you turn around and I can tell?
He's gonna throw the farrier knife at the gun hand and start charging. Like, if this were any kind of animated thing, the train sound would be playing after seeing like a knife connect, after the knife kind of like go towards her hands, that she'd be distracted.
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Okay, I guess that's hunt from what we learned before. It's attacking from a distance, right? So
yeah. Yes,
so
hunt.
Turk, use a hunt roll.
Oh hey, I'm not good at hunt.
And
it's a 0 dice.
Yeah, it's a risky standard. So that's a 3. Yeah, your knife missed.
I didn't need to hit.
But I will say that as Soda sees this knife just fly past her, that is what gave you the opening to be able to close the gap and get up close. Soda, what do you do? Or what did you do, I should say?
I know I pulled out my pistol to, like... the pistol was a deterrent. I don't want to shoot that off and let the farmer actually know I'm here. So I'm going to do the best I can, which is to basically try to clock him, which is not going to work out because I don't got skirmish. But I'm going to do it anyways.
Alright, this big man is bearing down on you. So roll a skirmish to try to clock him. Risky standard.
A 2.
That's a 2. Oh,
fail.
my dear.
I am not made for
super
skirmishing.
fail. You've never pistol whipped someone before in your life. You know that that's a thing people do, but this is early in Soda's criminal career. You don't know how to do this. Besides, you're a pretty good shot. You know how to do that. You've been hunting since you were a kid. But pistol whipping people is something that you've only heard of people doing and you've never done it. And Rust, how do you break this pistol whip and get in close?
It's gonna like. The thing is, he's gonna be ducked down to like get to her height, and the pistol's gonna come down on his shoulder, and it's not gonna do anything. And he's just gonna kind of seamlessly grab, slide, suplex over the shoulder into the dirt.
Roll a skirmish.
Oh no!
Did
Risky
you KO my
standard?
character in the
Yeah, risky standard skirmish.
fast you KO'd my character?
5.
5. You suplex the shit out of Soda, but you do land hard. And you actually knock the wind out of yourself at the same time.
Fuck, bud! You said you didn't eat too much. You kidding me? You're a thief and a liar. That fucking combo, bud.
Oh my god. Well, fuck you, dude. You're like a fucking fridge, and I'm a beanpole.
Soda, what do you do?
Him. She's gonna elbow him.
Roll a skirmish.
Fattest fucking beanpole I've ever seen. God.
A 1? Jesus Christ.
Oh, honey,
Should
no.
really argue something out. Man, this is a terrible fight for you. I'm sorry.
No.
You elbow, and he moves, and your elbow just hits a rock. Which fucking hurts. Just sends shockwaves all up your arm and your shoulder.
Oh god, who put that there? Better blame Mother Earth.
Rust, what do you do?
Fucking embarrassing, bud.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit, that wasn't my best move.
It's just, I think, rolled out of the way. At this point, he's gonna get up. He's gonna like, kind of get up into like a sort of crawl and try and do one of those MMA things where the opponent's down their back and just try to like diving smash his elbow into the head or chest.
Oh no.
Roll it. Skirmish.
That's a 4 again.
That's a 4. You bounce Soda's head off the ground. But, let's see. I think in the process, you bounce Soda's head off the ground, but then kind of go unbalanced and fall forward and sort of land on top of her. And enemies to lovers.
Did the cow fall on me?
The cow didn't fall. The cow has left.
No, I'm making a joke. I'm taking the joke about it. Fuck,
I
man,
see.
did the
Sorry.
cow fall on me?
Fuck, bud,
as
maybe
you
if you
fall
had any
forward-
kind of meat ever, you know what a fucking calorie looks like. God, fucking damn, how you so fucking heavy yet at the same time don't know what the fuck weight is?
I hope that my fucking rib bones are poking into you, you asshole.
What's you done to this
that's when
fucking fight?
Russ, that's when you feel the barrel of a gun at the base of your skull. No, it's not
fuck.
you, hun.
Is the
No,
cow?
everything.
I was
Is
hoping
it
I
the
was
cow?
cool. Is the cow?
No,
Does the cow have a gun?
it was the cow.
me.
The cow. The cow.
Fuck me, fuck me, you
The
turned
cows
the
are
cow on me?
packed. The cows are packed.
Cows are
No,
packing.
it's Dexy. What we now know in the future is Soda's long rifle. We see Dexy standing with the rifle to Rust's back, right at the base of your skull. And she says, "Stand up very slowly and let my colleague go, please."
Fucking colleague.
My associate, my compatriot, my comrade,
You fucking talk weird, bud.
Thank you, bud.
Ugh,
Stand up,
fuck,
please.
man.
He's standing up.
Soda, you okay?
I think you rattled my brain.
Not there's much in there, bud. Swear to
you're one
fucking
to
God.
talk.
Could hear the wind whistling when I threw you over my shoulder.
That's enough.
Shouldn't think too highly of yourself. Your head get any bigger, your brain is gonna get bruised bouncing against the side.
Soda, honey, take the L, okay? Just
Fine.
take the L. Are you okay, Soda?
Yeah, I'll be fine. He's just lucky I didn't want to actually fire off my fucking gun.
Yeah, and you're lucky your mom over here came here to save you.
I am not her mom, thank you very much. I'm sorry that you got mixed up in this, Mr.
Like, what's our character's actual name?
Tycho.
Pico?
Tycho. Jesus. And any brains up where you're from? You sure you're not her mom? You both sound the fucking same.
You are charming, aren't you?
Yeah, and you're trying to steal my fucking cow. So, like, figure it out.
I think you and I both know that that is not your cow.
Goes missing, I'm gonna get blamed for it. So, like, how would you let that ruminate?
Yes, that's true, isn't it? You have to take care of these animals, and taking it, you're a stable hand of some kind. You don't get to own them, you don't get any of the proceeds from them, but you get blamed if anything bad happens to them. Now, how's that fair?
No, I work as a farrier.
A farrier. That explains the knife. She looks over and picks up the farrier knife and holds it by the blade and gives it back to you. I think you dropped this.
Sit back and rubs off some dirt on the one side.
Now, are you going to stab me with that, or can I put this rifle down?
Suppose you're fine.
Good. And she lowers the rifle. Well, Mr. Kaiko, my name is Dexy. And this is my associate, Soda Pop. We are sorry to disturb your evening. We simply needed a cow for a little project we're working on.
What are you doing with a cow?
Have you heard of Blue Lips? And I think by this point, you have, by the way, Rust.
Yeah.
They've already hit the streets.
What shit? All the farmers are getting high on.
Oh, yes. And pretty soon, the whole city will be getting high on them.
Well, that's a bit, presumptuous.
Oh, I don't think so. Not at all, no. Because, well, Soda and I make them. And I can tell you, business is booming.
Well, if you say so, then good for you.
How much do you make as a farrier, Mr. Kaiko?
Room and board.
That's it? And you must work so hard. I can tell you're very dedicated to your craft. You're certainly dedicated enough to try to protect animals that you don't even own and won't generate any profit from. I admire that. How would you like to own something for once, Mr. Kaiko? How would you like to make some real coin?
Boards wouldn't be opposed.
Soda, tell him how much we made last month.
We made 2 coin.
What I'm going to say is that you say a number that's currency, and it's a very big number.
All right. The equivalent of 2 coin. 2 coin.
I think it's one of those things where you just like whisper in his ear, and we
Yeah.
see Rust's face like change.
Sorry, I
wouldn't mind
ruined the
splitting that
dramatic.
3 ways. No, you're fine.
$2. Damn, a criminal
I made
empire.
2
Hold
money.
on. 2 monies. I made 2 bags of money.
No, I realized I set you up for something. I'm like, we don't know what the currency is in this world, but yeah, it's a lot of money is the number she says.
Money.
Well, fuck, open with that next time instead of trying to steal the cow. Jesus.
We could use some muscle. As you can see, Soda, for all of her many admirable qualities, close quarters combat is not one of them.
This dog will hunt, but this dog cannot scrap.
She's a great shot. Trust me.
I mean, you say
she's
so.
A great shot. But we could use some muscle. We could use some protection. And with the profits we're making, I certainly wouldn't mind splitting that 3 ways. What do you say?
No, sounds like you got a deal.
And she puts the rifle to one side and holds out her hand.
Takes it. Big farmer handshake.
Okay, very, very vigorous. Thank you. Great.
I don't do half shakes.
Noted. But by the way, we will still need to be taking that cow.
Oh, fuck, alright. I think he's gonna, like, whistle, and the cow will probably come over.
Yo, you fucking whistle, and like 4 cows just come over. Oh, that... Excellent. And we flash back to the present, and you are returning to the barn, battered, bloodied, bruised, and oh, so fulfilled. And I think that's a good place for us to take our break. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to, so let's keep this short, 5-10 minutes. Hope you're there. And we will see you all just in a little bit as we continue learning a little bit more about our crew and get to the big meeting.
Ooh.
Welcome back. We have been getting to know our crew on a deeper level this evening after their shenanigans last episode of getting a bunch of people high as shit off Beef Wellington and breaking a bunch of ghost vases. Now we're learning a little bit about how they got here. And that's where we're going to pick right back up again, which is Rust comes back to the barn, battered, bloodied, no so satisfied, and as Rust takes a seat and kind of breathes a big, satisfied sigh. Is River there, Justin? Or no, River's not there. Okay, where?
No,
where do
I
we
think as
find
River, as soon as River got paid, and Dexy said, take the day off, and River just left because it was like, okay, off she goes. Maybe she didn't know at that point what she'd be doing, but she knows now.
So where do we find her?
So I think Russ is coming back, and then we can sort of drift over a little bit to one of the bridges that leads into Silkshore. And she is on the bridge at the very far edge, but like no further. She's standing at the very end of the bridge, just standing there looking into Silkshore, knowing that she's not supposed to be there. That Dexy said, don't go into any of the other turf or anything like that. So right now, River is like standing just in the middle of the road, like looking at Silkshore, and she's watching all the people with fancy clothing, and she's looking for like fabrics like silk and fur and anything that has sort of that like sensory tacticalness to it. Takati.
Yeah.
I don't know, but she's just like looking at all these people, and she's like just like watching them, and sometimes they'll come close enough where she'll just like start to like reach out to touch the fur coat, but then she like pulls her hand back and makes sure she's standing on the bridge, and it's just like there's people just, I imagine, just like flowing around her, you know, horses and
like a stone in the river.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get dark now. It's always dark, of course, but it's starting to get darker. And River, it's that time of night when the lamps go on, and everything starts to glow a little bit. And it's a time when the light sort of starts to taste like chocolate. And
obviously.
You can see all of these people coming to and fro. Of course, Silk Shore is like rife with sex workers. So you're seeing people, you see the red lights of the brothels twinkling on from across the bridge. And you see lots of people in finery. Silk Shore is not just, full of sex workers. It's also, of course, where people go when they wish to solicit them. So there's lots of very well-heeled people. Looks like folks from Brightstone and folks from Charter Hall and White Crown, who are all coming out at this time to go satisfy whatever itch that they need. And as they go back and forth, you can see men in really finely tailored suits. You see women in these long flowing silk dresses that are kind of hiked up in the front. And as you just see this almost kaleidoscope of different colors and fabrics and textures, and you instinctively know what all of them would feel like if you licked them. Your tongue just knows. You don't know how you know, but you just know. And they have different flavors. Like that green one tastes like apple. And like that red one over there, that probably tastes like pomegranate. But you've never actually had a pomegranate. But you're pretty sure that one tastes like pomegranate.
Every time that she's imagined what a pomegranate would taste like, it's mink stole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But of course, what you do see, even in River's altered perception of reality and in and out lucidity, you see the thing because it's in your notebook. It was something that Dexy warned you about, which is we do not cross the bridge. Why do we not cross the bridge? Because the gondoliers are there. Who are the gondoliers? The gondoliers are the ones that were the barbershop people, yes.
Yeah.
And there are gondoliers at the other side of the bridge who are looking at you.
Just waiting for her to do something.
Yeah, they know who you are, and you know that if you were to go into Silk Shore, they wouldn't necessarily attack on sight, but they would escort you everywhere, because there is only one place that you're allowed to go in the Silk Shore, and that is the Red Light Brothel. That was the deal that you guys made, where Madame Teslin, who runs it, is allowed to sell your wares in exchange for the gondoliers getting a small cut.
Yep. And we only go there on business.
Only on business.
I think River she's wearing her uniform, and so she reaches into that front pocket of her overalls and pulls out the notebook and like opens it up to the page that says, "You're not going to Silk Shore." You know?
Do not cross the bridge.
Mm-hmm. And she looks at it, and she looks at the barbershop pole man. She looks back at it, and she tastes the air.
Dark chocolate now.
Dark chocolate.
A little bitter.
She closes it, and she walks over to one of them, threateningly, just like trying to act casual, and walks over and says, "You just soldier, keep your mouth shut." She turns around and walks back across the bridge, back toward the farm, back toward... And I think along the way, she sort of like slips her spirit mask on. She probably has it around her neck, and she just slides it up onto her face. And she's just like looking for friends. She's looking for spirits and movement and ectoplasmic activity, and isn't really doing it for any purpose. She's just like, she wants to see them. She wants them to feel seen. And so she's just like looking around and dancing. I think that at some point she sees Cricket.
Okay. You do see some friends. I mean, that's what people don't understand, is that they have this big wall around the city that's made electricity to keep them all out, and like, yeah, it keeps those ones out, but they're always here if you just know where to look for them. They're everywhere.
Come up through the sewers.
Yeah, they're everywhere. And you can see, as you look back towards Silk Shore, amidst that whole rainbow of colors and textures, there's friends walking side by side with those people, whether they know it or not. I mean, that guy who just came here from Brightstone just to have a few drinks and get laid doesn't realize that there's been someone following him the entire time.
Yeah.
She looks sad. She looks like she doesn't want to be there. But she's there. She's his companion, whether he realizes it or not. And you look down by the river, and you can see under the bridge, there are people that are coming up out of the water
She
that
waves.
are weeping. And they bury their faces. And then walk back into the water again.
Oh, she's troubled by this, and she's starts thinking about, like, I know how to help my friends who, help us grow the mushrooms. I know how to help them when they come to me, because the runners, Rust and Cricket and Soda Pop and Mom, they bring the friends to her. Right? She doesn't know how it happens. They just get bodies at their barn, and usually those come with friends attached. And so, River is like thinking, well, what if I knew a way to find more friends, like to go and find them so I can help them. And she starts thinking in her head what she would have to do to the ritual that she knows to adjust it to be not necessarily a finder, but sort of a dowsing rod sort of situation of where is the activity the strongest, where can I find the most of these spirits that I can help. And so she starts just running through that in her head. That's basically all she does. Is I could do the ritual this way, but if I do it counterclockwise and I use a goose egg instead of a heron egg, then that might change it. And she's like, all this.
And you wanted to see Cricket, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what she's doing when she spies Cricket. Probably not in the barn, but maybe just outside or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, that's I like that idea. So, I think you see Cricket. You are out in Barracleft, and you see River near the bridge, and she's got her mask on, and she's just sort of dancing. Very flowy.
Lots of spinning.
Yeah, it's like a Florence and the Machine concert. She's just sort of pirouetting about, and you can tell, the look. And she's got the mask on. You know that she's seeing the beings that she calls her friends. That's not something she would call you.
Yet.
But, yep.
You'll be dead soon.
And then I'll be a friend. That's
One way or the
that would
other.
be
Friends who
River's
haven't
greatest
died yet.
accomplishment, to be a ghost so she could be a friend.
So she's just
You see
dancing.
River, what do you do?
Me?
Cricket,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said River. What? Sorry.
You see
You see River, what do you do?
I just heard River. What do you do? Okay. She's not She already stepped away from the bridge, right?
Yeah,
she's
she doesn't
still
look like
she's
about
still
to
sort of
cross
like
it.
she's like halfway down the bridge. She's like sort of working her way there.
And you can see Cricket, the gondoliers, looking at each other like, should we do something about this?
Cricket will kind of start scurrying over there, and knowing that there are friends around her that she can't see, kind of just like act as almost like a solid wall kind of thing to just block River from going any further, and hope that the friends will kind of go around in that way, but just kind of standing my ground so she can't get any further on the bridge. I was kind of like a herding dog, kind of like slowly trying to like,
Right.
yeah.
I think it takes River a good 2 or 3 minutes to realize that you're there. Like she's just so into the dance, and when she does, she just sort of stops. She looks at you, and she takes Cricket's hand and pulls her over to the side of the bridge, like up against. I'm imagining a stone bridge, but I don't know, but like some sort of railing or something, and like takes Cricket over there, and then looks over the side down into the water, and looks at Cricket as if expecting her to do the same. And she looks down, she says, "That's where I came from."
Your river from the river?
I guess. I'm River. That's where I came from. And that's where they found me.
You came from somewhere else before that, right?
I'm not sure. This little piece of fuzzy fabric told me that the sun wasn't going to come out tomorrow, but I don't believe it, so I'm not sure. All I know is, if that's where I came from, why are all the blues down there are so sad? All the blues there, and she points over towards Silk Shore. She says, all the blues are in a happy place over there with pretty and with people and with sex. But those blues aren't happy. I don't know how to find them all. We only get some of them. We only get some of them at the bar.
Well, it seems like you came from the river to make sure that you can make people genuinely happy. Your friends.
They just want to go home. But they keep going back into the river. And I can't go back into the river to find my way back home. Because I don't know where the river comes from.
Because you are the river.
I hate ducks. They're so loud and they shit everywhere.
Well, did
I am
ducks
the
follow you
river.
around?
No.
You can be the river free of ducks. That's the good
A
part.
river
about
without
being
any
on land.
duck. She's still holding Cricket's hand. And when you say like the river free of ducks, she starts laughing. And she goes, "A river without-" You're so funny.
You.
When did you turn into a fucking diplomat?
I just trying to be a living friend.
I don't have those. Well, I have soda pop and I have patches. And I have Dexy. And I have rust in his penis. But those are most of them. There's Laudry too, but I haven't seen Laudry in a long time. And you want to be my living friend.
If you want. No pressure.
Okay. Let's get down to it, Boppers. Come on. And she takes her hand and starts leading her back toward the barn.
She just kind of like throws back one like random glance back at the river and is just thinking in her head about how like the river moves in mysterious ways, and so does river.
It's never the same river twice.
That's very accurate for the person as well as the water.
I think that what River does next is takes Cricket back to the barn, and like Cricket's limping, and like poor Cricket.
Oh, she's been walking on it all day. She's probably like she probably just doesn't even want to acknowledge it.
And similar to the posture that Dexy took earlier, River sits down in a comfortable chair by Cricket and grabs her foot that isn't injured and puts it in her lap. And then she, like from out beneath the cushions, pulls this like little thing of toenail polish out and starts painting Cricket's toenails really messily in a deep red. And it's like all over them. And she just does that silently unless Cricket says something. Just starts like painting her toes.
Honestly, I think Cricket is a little like I don't think she knows how to make words.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because when she doesn't know how to make words, it's because she can't make like solid sentences. But like I'm sure that if she could sit there and just say whatever words were flowing into her mind, it would actually probably make sense to River really easily. But she's just like when you get closer to the end, she'll be like, I don't know if you think of me as a friend, but I think of you as a friend, if that's okay.
Of course that's okay. Friends paint each other's toenails. I painted my friend's toenails one time. It was a long time ago. I don't remember that friend anymore. But look, and she like puts the 2 feet next to each other, and one is like wrapped in bloody bandages, you know? And the other one has like red toenail polish. She goes, they match now. Now they match.
Same.
And then she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out that little metal widget that she pulled out of the singing fish before throwing it away. And it's a little, like, it's a ring. And she takes it and she puts it over on one of her toes, on one of Cricket's toes, on her good foot. She says, there, we're friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just know that if you ever want to find your way back, we can probably help you, but we're really happy to have a piece of the river in the barn.
River can't be in a barn. You're so funny. You're my funny friend. You're going to be my funny friend. Soda Pop is going to be my friend with a gun. Rust is my friend with a penis. Dexy's my mom.
And Cricket, you see Dexy just walked into the barn with and it's River's back is to the door. And Cricket, you have a clear sight of the barn door, and Dexy just walks in and is like and she just makes eye contact with you. Cricket is like,
I give that little like,
and she goes and just backs out and closes the door.
So, I think working on that ritual for River is going to be a long-term project. Okay. Meaning it won't happen within these 3 episodes.
It actually could. Okay. If you get a crit.
Okay.
So, long-term projects are clocks. So, to make it interesting, I'm going to make it a 4-segment clock. If you get a crit, you would fill 5 segments, and you would complete it in one go.
Okay. What do I need to roll to progress this stinking clock?
I imagine an attune roll.
Imagine the same. Okay. I will roll it. What are we looking for here? Controlled?
Yeah, it's controlled. Controlled, great effect. Yeah.
Okay.
Roll your attune. Oh, honey.
Nah,
so that's not... Yeah, that's not the end of the world. It's not a failure in the situation. It doesn't fill as much of the clock, though. So River is working on a ritual to try to locate ghosts, essentially, to try to find friends.
Yeah. Like a heat map for ghosts, you know?
Yeah. Ghost radar. And Ghostar. And I'd like to think... Maybe I'm being sentimental here. But I'd like to think that River's focus isn't entirely on that right now. Because she is trying to cast a ritual that helps her find friends.
But she has a friend right here.
She has one right in front of her.
I would agree with that. That's probably the reason why she can't fully devote herself to that ritual. As she's one corridor of River's brain is working on that ritual. Yeah. While this is happening. But another corridor is imagining what Cricket's lips taste like. So there's all sorts of things going on. And another part of River's brain is like writing poetry. So who knows?
You can't accuse her of having a one-track mind. She has a multi-track mind for sure.
She does. She can multitask.
And
not well.
One of those little... I actually like imagining that with River. Her mind is just going... It's a million different tunnels. Mm-hmm. And one of those tunnels is trying to focus on this way to find friends. And that's when, River, you think back to the many ways that you have tried to find friends over the years. It's how you found these friends. These few that you have here. Mm-hmm. This was before Cricket was around. But you found yourself in Duskful from ways that you don't fully remember or understand.
Yeah.
But you notice these people that all wear matching overalls. And they were always coming and going from this barn. And even though they looked kind of dirty and they always looked suspicious, like they were casting around to make sure nobody was watching them, what you remember about them is that they also looked happy. Despite not being in the best of circumstances and not being in the best part of town, for sure, you see from a distance as they laughed with each other and sometimes punched each other, but then laughed after they did it. And you'd sit there and see late at night as the lights would come on in the barn, and you could see them through the windows drinking a beer and talking all night. And what did you do as you watched this over weeks and months?
just for the parallelogramness of it, like that's started at that same bridge that she was just on, that we just saw her at. And there is like a row of houses just past the bridge, like some out of Silk Shore wannabe cheap housing in Barrow Cleft. And so she's like, finds the one that's closest to the barn, and just the first day she spent around the corner watching. And the next day she came out from behind the corner and started watching. And then she was at the curb or edge of the street, across the street from the barn, still now in plain view, just watching. And then the next day she was on the other side of the street. And then, I think one day, they came back and she was like next to the door or inside. Just, it's like a stray cat that sort of is testing the water and just gets closer and closer. And that's where she is.
Yeah, Soda and Rust are carrying a body that's been wrapped up in a shroud. It's not, to someone who didn't know, it looked like they were just carrying like a big sack of potatoes or something like that, but they have both ends of this shroud and they're carrying it in, and you're just standing there. And you see, as they walk by carrying this body, they see you. They lock eyes with you. Dexy locks eyes with them, and then locks eyes with you. And River, you lock eyes with none of them, because what you're locked eyes with is the friend that's following them that they don't see. There's a bluey right there. It's a young woman, probably only about like 19 years old, who is following them and protesting the whole way. Where are you taking me? Where are you taking my body? What are you doing with me? How did I get here? What are you doing? And they have no idea.
River is like slides her mask up onto her face to get a better look at this bluey. I think is a TV show for kids, so maybe. But she slides the mask up and then like sees the ghost protesting, and she tries to like start answering its questions as it's asking them. Right? She's like, "Where are you going?" "They're going inside the barn." "What are you doing?" "This is a dead body. This was your body. You don't need it anymore." She's like yelling at an empty space behind them.
Who are these people? Why are they taking me away?
Well, they have a machine that makes drinks. I saw this one, and she points at Soda Pop. She took a drink from this machine, and I don't know why they need your remains. You don't need them anymore. You get to go home.
What do you mean I get to go home?
You don't have to be here anymore in this place, whatever it's called. You get to go back in the river.
And Dexy looks at you and looks at Soda Pop and Rust again. Who are you talking to, young lady?
She clams up, like she starts and then like looks at the blue and says to the blue, says, "What's your name?"
Natalie.
"This is Natalie."
Did you know this person?
"No." "Did you? You have her body."
Yeah, I
I
didn't
don't know
her.
them. I don't know them.
She says she doesn't know you.
Dude, Dexy, is this weird girl like talk? Do we have a ghost?
That certainly seems likely.
I thought ghosts just attack people like right off the bat, right?
This isn't a ghost.
Wow.
This isn't a ghost. This is a person who's not alive. She's my friend. Now,
Okay. Okay.
Are we friends? Did I know you?
No, but we can be friends now. You don't want to be alone.
Oh, I don't want to be alone. I want to be alive.
Oh, I don't go backwards. What I can do is I can. She looks around at anyone's listening, which is the weirdest thing. She just looks and she goes, I can take you home.
To be clear, young lady, were you speaking to me? Oh, okay, definitely not speaking to me. Okay.
No. Oh, can I
Speaking
come
to
inside?
Natalie, right?
Yes, I think we all should go inside and get this body out of plain view. Come in.
Follows the procession into the barn. And I think that, like, I would imagine there's a shit ton of blueies in here.
There's a lot of them. There's
and she's just watching. She goes,
many of
"Oh
them.
no!
Oh, dude, you come
made a
inside.
mess."
You come inside, and there's just like, there's just a chorus.
Yeah. River is overwhelmed, and she's like, "No! It smells slippery in here. Oh no! What did you do? Why did you make? No one took out the trash at all."
And Dexy looks at Rust and Soda with a look that you know means, like, be ready to cap this chick if anything weird happens.
River says, I need a bowl of water. I need some clean towels. I need an apple, and I need a heron's egg.
I don't think we have those.
You
Do you
fucking
have a
need
goose
something.
Probably
egg?
not the heron egg.
What did you say, man? Orange head? Orange head man. What did you say?
Did you fucking need something, bud? To get out and get lost.
No,
Did I
Rust,
know?
Don't be rude now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it polite to come into someone's house and start asking weird fucking shit? Are we just letting this go on?
In fairness, we invited her in, and it seems as if this young lady's perceptions are correct, that we have somewhat of a ghost infestation in our barn. Is that right?
Yes. It's not a home. It's your house, not your house. It's a barn. She says it, Rust, with like an attitude. It's not your house. It's a barn. And then she says, I can help. I can help. But I bet they make your food taste bad. So you probably want me to help. Do you want me to help?
Who's make our food taste bad?
You mean, and she'll point to the mushrooms, you mean these?
I don't know if those are the things you eat. But when there's a lot of friends around and they're lost and they want to go home, it makes things don't taste right, and things smell like oil, and things sound like a nail in a gas can.
The goggles you have, did those let you see your friends?
No. I see better. I see better.
Oh, okay. They're like glasses. They help you out.
I guess. I suppose. But the
Rust, could you show our new friend around, please? Soda, I need to talk to you.
come on, orange head.
She kind of looks at her.
Don't punch her.
River's just
fine.
touching stuff.
Fine, I want to grumble about it. And have a grumble about it later.
Thank
You take me to the magic drink machine.
Oh, there's one word you're going to learn real quick right here. But I do show you the way.
She can't get it to work because she's not the Fonz. Lisa.
Soda, we have been having quality control issues. And
True.
I've been wondering if maybe the spirit presence could be to blame, but I'm far from a specialist in that sort of thing.
I mean, I have noticed that the product has gotten both better and simultaneously worse since we started bringing in people. Like it's
Yeah.
a stronger high, but it's been more bad trips than good.
Yeah, I don't feel good about some of the recent batches that we've put out. It's been a little unpredictable. But it makes me wonder if perhaps that can be fixed with someone who has talents like hers. And she gestures to River. What's River doing?
River has found a broom and is just hitting it against the wall repeatedly.
Yes, like her.
Next to Rust.
There's a screw loose in that head. You know, Dexy, I suppose we can find out. We can find out right now, I guess. We have that body from 2 weeks ago. The mushrooms are just about ripe.
Do you have a heron's egg?
No, I can go steal a chicken's egg. Think she'd know the difference anyways?
Young lady.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
What was your name, dear? I'm sorry. I've been terribly rude.
I'm from the river.
The river?
Okay. I need an egg. I need a bowl of water, clean water. I need a towel. I need an apple.
Okay. River? Can we call you River?
Okay.
Okay. Would a chicken egg do? I don't think we can get a heron egg that easily.
Chicken. Oh, dangerous. But okay.
Soda, run out to the coop. Rust, I need you to go get some water for our friend here. And River, how about you just make yourself comfortable? And she comes over to the soda machine and punches it like the Fonz, and an RC Cola comes out.
River is
And
dumbfounded.
try one of these.
Like a
It's
little
the best
possum.
thing you've ever tasted in your life.
It is.
Sweet sugar water.
Why are you collecting people?
Well, River, my friends and I, the orange man, his name is Rust, and the purple-haired girl, her name is Soda Pop. We make things. We make mushrooms that grow on dead things.
You can't eat those. They'll kill you.
Yeah, we've noticed that sometimes. I've managed to refine them in such a way that they won't always kill you, but sometimes they do. And we've also noticed that since we've been using people, that there's been some strange side effects depending on how they died.
Are you talking about the blue caps? The blue mushrooms?
Yes, the people around here have taken to calling them blue lips.
The blue mushrooms. The blue mushrooms. They're too emotional. They're too emotional. And so you want them to taste happy and not scared.
We want
You
them
have
to
friends?
taste like sunshine.
Oh. And Orange Rust and the Soda Pop are your friends.
Oh, yes. Yes, they're my very good friends.
And if I can help them taste like sunshine, I'll be your friend. That wasn't a question. She drinks her soda pop.
Well, then I won't answer it. But I think this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Yes, River.
Okay. I love you.
How about you show us what you can do?
Do I have the required materials? Justin is asking.
Yeah. Yes, they return with like a bunch of kind of weirdly misshapen chicken eggs from our like
Excellent.
emaciated chickens.
And an
Some
apple.
big ones. Some big juicy boys.
Crab
And an apple. A little crab apple.
A little
and,
crab apple.
Some water from the pump out back. That's as clean as we could get it.
River like stands among all these elements. Hi Val, thanks for the raid. River looks at all of these things and says, it'll have to do. And she sits down and she takes out like her bone charm out from she is at this point probably just wearing the sweater and maybe some like ragged jeans or slacks that are like torn at the knees, you know, and so she reaches in one of those pockets and pulls out her charm, and she sits down in front of all these things, and she launches into this ritual where she she'll take the egg and move it around the bowl of water, and she'll take the charm and she'll like put it into the water like someone going back into the river, and she repeats the process again and again, and she takes the apple and she takes a bite of the apple and puts it aside, and she does it again, and then like she just does that thing which we did last week where it's like Tibetan throat singing, where she's like brrr. She lets out this klaxon ungodly noise that like someone of her frame should not produce, and like I think even if you can't see the ghosts in here, you can feel the energy being like sucked through the room, and up and out and dispersed. And like once it's done, all the mushrooms start to glow a little bit brighter. Whereas before they were kind of a sickly blue or like a pale blue, now they're like neon like bright blue.
I think you make that Tibetan throat singing that literally rattles the windows of this barn, and everyone can feel the energy shift. And this barn, it's nighttime right now. We just have a couple lamps burning, a few candles, and yet everyone sees the whole place lights up. This blue bioluminescent glow that you all now see just like cast across River's face, and Dexy and Soda and Rust. We're all just, and it's like the whole barn is breathing. And Dexy looks at Soda and says, Soda, would you be a dear and just try a small sample of that batch over there?
Yeah. So take a cutting, and if this kills me, I guess use me for more product. So pop it in.
Good job,
And
Pocket
Soda,
Links.
It's it is like nothing you've ever felt in your entire life. You feel as if someone has just like wrapped you in blankets and just tossed you upon clouds of marshmallows. And there is just this warm, tingling feeling that runs all the way from your head down to your toes. And you see a great light in the distance that you feel as if you're floating gently toward, but just as you get near it, as if you're about to pass to the other side, you float back, and then you do it all over again, and you're just trapped in this liminal space that feels like you're flittering between life and death. And in that space, in this quasi-dead space that you're existing in, for the first time ever, Soda, you can hear them. You can hear River's friends.
Huh.
As they all breathe this collective sigh of relief, and you hear them say,
Thank you.
as they float away. And when you come back out of it, Dexy, Rust, and River are standing over you. And Dexy says, "Good?"
I think at this point there's actually like tears in Soda's eyes, and she's wiping away and going, I think I understand what Harlan was feeling at the end there. It was good.
River has taken the chicken egg that was dunked in the water several times and has peeled it, revealing that it's somehow hard-boiled now. Like, peels it and then, like puts it in Rust's hand and turns and walks away.
And Dexy says, "Well, she's definitely hired, but what are we going to do about those batches that were already out there?" And we hop directly to another flashback. Cricket. Cricket, you are on the streets of the Silk Shore, and you just saw in front of you in an alleyway, you just saw a mugging happen. And a man who was walking down the alleyway was suddenly beset by two thugs who jumped on him and started throwing haymakers. He had a bag in his hand that got knocked out and fell to the ground. One of the thugs picks it up and runs. And the other one darts off the other direction, leaving this guy in a crumpled heap on the ground. And as that one dude runs away, a few of these little blue cap mushrooms fall onto the wet cobblestones.
She kind of looks around to see if anyone's paying attention, and goes to pick them up, assuming they must be something special if somebody was trying to mug them. So she kind of tucks them away in the little... Oh, she's probably not wearing overalls yet. Oh, no.
Not yet, no. Not yet.
She probably has a little, like, pouch on
Little
her...
bindle.
Little bindle. Oh.
She has to unwrap her bindle so she can put the mushrooms in, and then she ties it back up.
Yeah, there's no one paying attention except that guy who's in a heap on the ground, and he's not really with it at the moment.
So Cricket walks up with her corncob pipe, her bindle, and her tin can hat for some reason.
Hey, you gotta use what you can find.
And the man who's in a heap just goes, "No, those are mine."
She scurries.
And we see the man gather himself and say, "Young children shouldn't be using mushrooms." And you scurry away.
Try to tell me that the man doesn't remember my face because that's the first time he's seen me. He remembers it from the past time he saw me.
Okay, time out. I've got a fan theory here. This guy's a time traveler. 100%.
No, he didn't recognize you when he saw you again because he just got his fucking bell rung that time, so he doesn't remember your face.
He's
He just got
tell me
clocked
what
in the
to
fucking
drink.
head.
He's gonna tell me where to be. He's gonna tell me not to do mushrooms.
And he's
What are
telling
you,
you
my
not to do all these
dad?
things he's doing.
He's doing
That's the best part.
He's the puritanical hypocrite. He's my favorite. And then he dusts himself off and heads off for the brothel,
Great. Or he'll
where
see
he
him
hopes
again
there's
in
no
another
children
year or so.
around.
Until a year
And
later.
Cricket, you have been living on the streets of Doskwall for quite some time now, recently taking up in the Silk Shore, just because there's a lot of drunk people who drop stuff around here. So it's a good place for a little scavenger like yourself. You had a friend who kind of showed you around and helped you get to know the place and get to know how to find a mark. But at this stage, you're pretty well on your own, and you haven't eaten in a while. And these little mushrooms are the only food you have right now.
Being a lurk and knowing that I look like I live on the streets, I would want to try to find a place where I could be in private to eat, just so nobody sits there and tries to take anything back from me, or kind of just able to enjoy my prize.
Yeah, so you find a spot on a rooftop. It's pretty rainy in Doskwall, but you got lucky tonight. It's a clear night. A clear sky. It's cold, it's a little windy up there, but people don't tend to go up on the rooftops, and you always have some privacy up there. And you kind of tuck yourself into the little corner. It's one of those square-roofed buildings. You kind of tuck yourself in a corner that keeps you safe from the wind, and undo your bindle and lay out. I think this is like a little ritual kind of for you, like lay out your possessions, what few things you have. So what's in your bindle?
There's a few things. There is a coin that doesn't look like it belongs to anywhere near here. She doesn't know if it's even anything that she can use. There's a kind of metal fish lure of types. Kind of looks like a little fish, and it should probably have the like a little hook, like a 4-pronged hook attached to the bottom of it, but that's been either ripped off or lost. She has the business card of a bakery that she has since learned has really good muffins, that she kind of is grateful that she now has the business card because it helped her find it. And she also just, like, just has little trinkets and things off the street that probably look like trash to people that wouldn't really care about it. Like little hair clips and stuff like that.
She's like a little, like, magpie, just, like, collecting some shiny things, You have a little,
Absolutely.
like, a little octopus's garden laid out on your bindle, and you scan all through. I feel like everything... Cricket strikes me as organized chaos. So, like, I feel like everything is pretty well organized, place for everything in its place, but you kind of, like, scan across the rank and across the row of everything that you currently own. And you realize that's not food, that's not food, that's not food, that's not food. You've always gotten by, but right now it's just kind of a lean time. You haven't been on your own for very long, and there's just not much to go around. You don't feel like you're going to starve to death, but you need to eat. And you're short on options.
I think, are the mushrooms actually, like, blue and luminescent?
They're not the really bright bioluminescent ones that we just saw in that flashback. These are one of the earlier batches
Yeah.
that are blue, but just not very, very bright. They're a duller blue color that doesn't really glow. It just kind of has almost looks like looking through like a fiber optic cable. Like it just has, it gives off, it doesn't really emanate light, but it has a little bit of dots of kind of like speckled blue across it that are a little bright.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would actually make her more likely to eat it. If it's not like glowing and everything like that, I feel like she'd want to save it and I don't know, like have it be like one of those, like when you're playing a video game and you get like one special item and you're like, I need to save this for an important day, and then you never ever use it ever because you think it's so important and you're like, this isn't the time. So I think right now, because like they don't look that like blue and luminescent and bold, like she'll be like, it's food that I have. I need to have energy to go looking for more tomorrow. So I think she'll try it. She'll just take one for now. Kind of just taking little nibbles of it and like kind of trying to savor it. Make it seem like there's more than there is.
And I think because you take little nibbles of it, you don't get the full-blown unable to move like opium haze that other people get. But you take a few small bites and it feels as so it's a night where you get, like I said, it's windy. You can hear the wind kind of whipping on the rooftops, and you can hear some flags nearby on top of the roof that are like billowing hard in the wind. And you can see, when you see birds that are trying to fly against the wind and they just look like they're hovering, like they can't. You see like a bunch of like pigeons that are just nearby trying to go, and you're in your little safe space here, where you're not feeling any of that. But then you take a couple bites, and then all of a sudden, you don't hear it anymore. The world just gets quiet. And your world, Cricket, is never quiet. I mean, you live on the streets. You live among the hustle and bustle. You purposely go to areas that are heavily populated and heavily trafficked because that's where you can get free shit. And so you never know silence. Like, you don't live in that world. But for a moment here, is it a moment? Is it a minute? Is it an hour? Is it a day? Who could say? The whole world gets quiet and you just feel this absolute peace. And you can hear voices that you never noticed before. But did you? Maybe they were there the entire time, you just weren't paying attention. It's like I would compare it to like if there's like a fan going in the room that's on all the time and then you suddenly shut it off. All of a sudden the room feels extremely quiet. And now with the rest of the world just being quiet for a moment, you hear all this chatter, all these voices, all these people talking. And it's not frightening. It's actually quite peaceful. You can't see them. You're not gifted with that power. But you know that they're there. And it's a warm, comforting feeling because you realize that not only are you not alone, you've never been alone. You've never been alone for your entire life. They've always been around you. You just couldn't hear them. And you feel this warm embrace of the world around you. Like you love the world and it loves you back. And I think you even hear your old departed friend, who you haven't seen. He's been gone now long enough that you feel ashamed of it, I think, in some level, but it happens to everybody. When you lose somebody and eventually you realize you can't remember what their voice sounded like. And now it comes right back to you because you're hearing it. And You are so completely embraced by the world around you. Duskfall is a cold, dark, miserable place. But that's only if you can't hear what's really underneath. And what's really underneath is absolute comfort, community, and family.
I think it takes her a few seconds to adjust to the quiet. It's like when you walk into a dark room after being in the light and you kind of have to have your eyes adjust for a second. And then it feels so empty, and then it like one voice and another voice, and finally she picks out that familiar voice, and she kind of just smiles to herself and is just kind of looking up at whatever sky Duskwall has decided to give her. Mika, if I made it, I think. I don't know where, but I made it.
You know he's there, and you hear almost like the sound of someone trying to speak through water. It's not clear enough to make out what he's trying to say. But what matters is that you can tell that he's responding, that he heard you, and he's trying to say something back. And for the moment, I think that's enough.
I think she sits there trying to strain her ears to listen for a few seconds, and then kind of just, I miss you.
Just for fun, roll in a tune roll.
I already know how this is gonna go.
Might get surprised.
2. Because I have 0 and a tune.
Yeah. He says something back to you. But you don't know what it is. But you don't need to. You don't hear it or understand it. Well, you hear it, but you don't understand it, but you can feel the meaning. You can feel love in whatever that sound from the other side was. And just like that, in an instant, it's all gone. You are back to reality. The wind begins to howl.
I think she covers her ears and starts kind of rocking back and forth. Where did you go? I don't want to lose you again.
And as you say that to no one, you look down at the pack and realize there's a lot more there. If that was just a small bite, what does a whole cap do?
Her hand starts kind of shaking as she reaches for it, and this time she doesn't hesitate and goes for the full thing. And even contemplates reaching for another one.
And that's how it started. we flash forward a few months, and Cricket is on the streets, and this time we see that her lips have been stained blue. But she now knows what to look for. She knows what it looks like when someone's high on these things. And you stake outside the brothels and the bars and the clubs. And eventually it always happens. Somebody drops one. Somebody gets too fucked up and leaves one on a table. And you get yourself a steady supply over the next couple months. And you notice that they get better. The ones you're finding now, they glow. And the feeling you get from them is transcendent. And every time you use them, you get to hear his voice again. And it feels like it gets a little clearer. Maybe it's a little clearer. Still can't quite make it out. Tell you what. How about if you do a little bit more? Maybe next time. Maybe next time it'll be perfectly clear. And you just keep making this bargain with yourself over and over again. Try it one more time. And then eventually you start hearing whispers. Because you have to know. Where are these things coming from?
I have a friend, Telda, who's a beggar. And because I'm assuming in Duskwall, beggars are often overlooked, she usually has a lot of information about the ins and outs of what's happening on the streets. People will just talk openly in front of her sometimes. Probably she might know something. So I think I'd eventually kind of get drawn to try to find her and see if I can learn anything.
Yeah, and Telda doesn't really talk. She just makes sounds and points at things. She has, I've been tossing around this idea that in Duskwall that there's this own, Duskwall has its own sort of form of sign language that is used by a lot of people just for convenience. You know, as a way to, particularly in like marketplaces, in order to have like really quick transactions without having to actually talk. But also very popular among scoundrels because it lets you communicate without speaking. And she's an old lady who's just like shot through with arthritis and very hunched over. And she doesn't talk anymore. She makes occasional sounds, but she mostly communicates in a very broken sign language. She uses very rudimentary signs, and she just kind of indicates at things. And the place she told you to go is she signs to you red lights. Red lights. And that was how you found the Red Light Brothel, where these folks had been selling. At the time, without permission. And the first time you go there, you actually witness a brawl between Rust, Soda, River, Dexy, and a gang of gondoliers, including her. Not that you would know who she is at that point. And then you followed them. You followed them all through Silk Shore, all the way to the bridge that now marks the barrier of your safe haven. The bridge that straddles the river from which River came. And you found that little barn. So unassuming. You'd never know it meant anything if you weren't sneaky enough to follow them. But what you find is a barn that is trapped to the gills. There are tripwires, bear traps, crossbows stuck to the wall that'll shoot you if you step on a pressure plate. And you managed to get through all of that without
I probably
a
watched them
scratch.
set some of it.
Yeah, and you get in
If I
there
didn't
without a
recognize
scratch
the
on
trap
you.
before, I probably just learned it then.
It's like, oh, who would have thought? And then, ooh, Cricket, when you get into the inner sanctum, you see a sight like you've never seen. Rows and rows and rows of these raised planters. And they're all glowing. But then it makes sense for the first time why you can hear them from the other side. Because from those planters you see the hands and the feet and the faces of the dead. What did you do?
I tried to look around for the one that shone the brightest. And after a few seconds of kind of pausing and realizing what it was that, you know, trying to connect the dots of everything that I'm taking in really, you know, I think she does this kind of weird, she goes up to one where there's a hand sticking out, and she kind of goes and kind of like tentatively goes to try to squeeze the hand to say, thank you for giving me a chance to potentially talk to someone that's on your side, before she takes a decent amount of the mushrooms that she sees sticking out on the upper half of the body, not the lower half.
You squeeze the hand, and it's ones that are glowing the brightest blue. And then you see on the side of the planter the placards that Soda puts there, and it says "masturbated to death."
Yeah, that's why I'm choosing from the top of the body.
But it's also why they're so good. But you squeeze the hand.
I kind of regret
you...
squeezing his hand.
Unfortunately for you, that guy was ambidextrous. No matter which one.
That hand is so fuzzy.
Really wish I had known to look at the plaque before. Now I know.
Child, you can't eat masturbation mushrooms! No!
Cricket is already pretty dirty anyway, so she kind of like realizes it, wipes it off on the pair of pants she's wearing before she reaches for the mushrooms. I hope.
But they are very, very bright glowing.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen ones like this before.
I think because she knows these are special, she wants to take more of them. Like, she just wants to, like, she feels like this is the shot that'll get her to be able to speak to Mika again. So she kind of will just be so excited by that prospect that, like, right then and there, honestly, not even, like, she looks around a little bit, doesn't seem like anyone's stirring, and kind of just goes for it.
And that is where all of you found her. It's true that with River's help, these mushrooms can be significantly less dangerous. But for a little body like hers, taking as many as she did, it can still be deadly. And sometimes that nearly crossing over to the other side can become a little bit more than just simulation. And all of you, Rust, Soda, River, and Dexy, took yourselves out for dinner that night, celebrate a big score, and when you came back, you found this young woman, small, scrawny, clearly underfed, laying on the floor of the barn with her eyes completely glazed over, just twitching, not even writhing in pleasure the way that they sometimes do, but just sort of twitching. She was starting to go cold. But River, you saw something no one else saw, which is you saw who she really was. You saw the real Cricket standing beside her body. And Cricket, I think you should play that. I don't want to play your soul, so... So all of you come in and see a girl overdosing on your floor. This feels very Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, River's just off to the side, looking at the spirit of Cricket.
I feel like everyone will be looking down at Cricket. And that'll be the first moment where she realizes that she is in her solid form. Like, she's looking down at herself. That doesn't make any sense. And she's trying to wave and trying to get people's attention and wondering why nobody can see her, and it's all a lot to process, and it's not really clicking as fast as it should be, but she's sitting there and trying to scream at to somebody, I don't know, somebody who will listen. And all these people are just looking down. And you never really see yourself from an outside perspective. You always see yourself through mirrors or pictures, so it doesn't even seem like it could be possible. Like, maybe that is somebody that just looks a lot like me, and that's not me. And she's just, like, screaming into this void until I think eventually she'll be searching the faces of each of them until she kind of notices River looking directly at her and not down.
You're wrong.
Wrong? What do you mean wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something's not right here, but I don't know. I don't think it's me. What do you mean wrong?
You're not done yet. And
Not
I don't know if anyone would want to eat you.
I'm gonna get eaten? What are you talking about?
You need to... I'm gonna have to do something about this.
Can you put me back? Can you get me back to my body? Is that me down there?
I
And
can
as you
help.
say that, Dexy, you can see Dexy and Soda and Rust are all trying to revive Cricket, as River is just not paying attention at all. Dexy is like shouting something at Soda, like telling her to go get something. Rust is like holding Cricket's head up, trying to make sure she doesn't aspirate, and they're yelling and they're screaming at each other. But River and Cricket, you can't hear any of it. You're completely in your own world right now. And Cricket, you can see the mouths moving. You can tell from the expressions that there's some high emotion. You don't hear a thing.
What are they doing to me?
Hmm? And this is the first time River realizes. Sort of looks around. She says, "I don't know. I can help you if you don't want anybody to eat you. But
Be eaten? I don't want to be eaten. Are you? Why can I hear you? Why can't I hear them? Can you talk to them? Can you tell them that I'm here? I'm right here.
River turns around and she's here.
What? Who? You mean this? This one?
She's hanging on. One moment, I need to talk to her. Keep doing your dance with the dead body or whatever.
Oh, okay. Move over, I'm gonna get CPR.
Yeah, and she looks at Cricket and she says, I can help you. I don't know if it's pleasant.
Do it. I'll do anything.
And she takes this little it's like a collapsible looks like a collapsible like walking stick or something like that. And she just like flips it out, and it's this long pole with a loop at the end that is like starts crackling with this blue electroplasmic light. You know? And she's like, okay, hang on to your butt. And she goes and like loops the spirit of Cricket, and you can like feel it just like crushing you, right? Because it's like has to like, I think, sort of just kind of compress you down until River can like get you back into the corpse. And I imagine for River, it's incredibly hard. There have to be a lot of things that go right. And yeah, she just sort of like hooks her and loops her and tries to like guide her back into the corpse.
The once you mentioned that the crushing pain, I think River. Oh my god, I keep calling myself River.
It's all right. Everybody wants to be River. Who doesn't want to be completely off their rocker?
I mean, hey, if you know, I could just go to the river and then it would make me River. At this point, right? I would just be one with
where she
the
came
river.
from. She came from the river.
So, but I think Cricket starts screaming, and it is kind of that weird like Doppler effect of like, she's here and then she's getting sucked down. I'm not gonna even pretend to try to imitate it. I live in an apartment. But like just pure, just guttural reaction.
Right.
No idea what's happening. No idea if this is malicious. But yeah, just an unintelligible screaming.
And I think that like River has to like it takes physical effort for River to like drag her hook over to the body. And as she approaches, she like shouts at this. She's like, "This one is loud. Move!" She just tries to force it back in there.
River, I don't think this is something that you've really done before.
No, this is all theoretical. But anything River does is theoretical.
Yeah. But like you've sent people to the side and everything, but like putting someone back in their body, that is not something you've done before.
That's not.
So you probably had no way of knowing this was going to work.
Yeah.
But it did. And Rust, you were holding Cricket's head slightly elevated when her eyes opened, and you were the first person that she saw alive again. And Cricket, you take a gasping breath.
I was gonna say you see pure terror in my eyes. And I'll look up at Rust. And I don't even know what to say, and I'll like kind of search his face and slowly search Dexy's face and Soda's face, and finally fall on River and kind of just let out like my first even breath after probably hyperventilating the entire time she's looking from face to face.
And in a brief moment, if I can, River just like looks around at everyone. She says, "She can't stay. And then she gets up and walks away singing Dilly Dally Sally, walking down the alley.
Cricket looks back up to Rust at this point then, because if he's the closest to her, and be like, what does she mean I can't stay? Like, in my body or just in the barn?
Look, if you're asking, if you're asking me, is what the hell River means when River says anything, I mean, guess as good as any, but usually it's pretty dang smart.
Basically, none of us know.
So, she kind of like does the whole like patting to make sure she's in her body, and she's like, okay. Well, you're not gonna kick me out, are you?
Honestly, part of me I don't know why we keep you alive, actually. You stole from us.
And you broke in our barn.
Yeah, I'm kind of just waiting on the call here, so,
Russ just, like, knife out. Just...
Yeah, I was gonna say Soda has her pistol out.
He hasn't drawn a knife because he doesn't know which one he wants to use yet. He's mentally going through all of them and the various pros and cons. Yeah.
And Dexy kneels down to you, Cricket, and she puts a hand to your face, and she runs her thumb on your lips, which are still stained blue. And she says, well, you, little one, have had far too much of these. So tell you what, you're going to stay here for a while you dry out. And then we'll decide what to do with you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
And she says, are you hungry?
Yeah.
She can't have my canned fish.
Do you even have canned fish?
I will.
That's a delicacy, I think.
Soda, get her something to eat, and, how about I show you to your bed?
A bed?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a spare.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I broke into your barn and you don't even know my name. I'm Cricket, and I'll do whatever it is that I can to repay. And she kind of trails off.
Never mind that, little one. You need rest. And she helps you get to your feet.
And
takes
she's
you to a
like
bed.
very clearly like shaking and kind of leaning on Dexy a little bit.
She takes you to the a little attachment to the barn where everybody sleeps, and she lays you down on a bed, and it's the first bed you've ever had. At the time, it was only temporary, until they figured out what to do with you. But after some meetings between Dexy, Soda, Rust, and not really River, it was determined that anybody who had the ability to get into their barn, get through all their traps, and break all their locks unscathed was someone worth keeping in the gang. And so that bed became your bed. And it still is. Even now, with your bindle safely tucked underneath. it's yours. And that's where we find Cricket now.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think there's gonna be some times where she has flashbacks to like the first time laying down in that bed and realizes that she's still really grateful. Kind of just has those nights where like the bed is just that much more comfortable because she knows what could have happened. So
yes, Rust could have ended you if you'd been given the order. But that's where we find Cricket now, in her bed, thinking about her interaction with River, blanket pulled over, and one foot half stained red with toenail polish hanging out from the sheet. You're not sure if it's completely dry yet, and you don't want to get it on the sheet, so the foot's just kind of hanging out.
I have my bloody foot under the sheets though.
It's wrapped up. You're fine.
Okay.
And then you hear Dexy call that everyone is to gather because we're getting ready to head out for the biggest night of all of your lives. And that's where we'll leave the Midnight Runners. Except for one little thing. Which is that we see as our camera pulls away from the barn and pans across the river to the Silk Shore, we see a close friend of Soda's, Melvir, who is walking about the Silk Shore drunk off his head. Melvir is a bit of a lush. He has a penchant for the mushrooms and a penchant for alcohol. And we see him walking over these uneven, wet cobblestones, singing to himself, probably Dilly Dally Sally, when suddenly an arm reaches out from an alleyway and pulls him in. And we see Melvir suddenly surrounded by 6 bluecoats who pull billy clubs and savagely beat him. And after he is left broken and mewling on the floor, one of them grabs him by the collar, pulls him up, shoves him against a wall, and says, "Who the fuck are the Midnight Runners?" And that's where we're gonna leave the Midnight Runners for tonight. You thought I forgot. That was the flipped entanglement that you rolled at the very beginning of the episode.
Flipia.
I forgot.
Flipia for real.
I almost forgot, but I had to get it at some point. So Melvir just flipped. Not that any of you know that. So that's fine.
No, my friend.
Look, he got beat up by cops. What are you gonna do? Well, that was delightful.
It happens in every game.
Yeah, right? I loved having the Origins episode. That was delightful.
I don't think any of us were expecting it, but it was really great.
Yeah.
Usually series do that on the first episode, but not us.
No.
You have to meet
Not
us first and
story.
then get our backstory.
Right,
This is the
Yeah.
prequel that goes out of order.
We adventure timed it. It just came out way later.
Oh.
You're like, there you go, about 2/3 of the way in.
Also, we
I
all only did one downtime action, and I technically didn't even do mine.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah, I
out.
realized around the time Hoop was saying, "When are you gonna be fucking done with this?" But a lot nicer than that. I was like, everyone's only done one downtime thing. Great, I'm slow. Actually,
do it.
Turk did do 2. Turk did 2 because
Oh,
Turk
yeah.
reduced Indulge Vice twice.
Turk, you took my time to be able to do even one. What the heck?
I had a lot
We
of
got the end
stress.
scene though.
He had a lot of stress, and
And
a
he
lot
got
of,
laid.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
All right, let's. I'm gonna go around and tell you all how great you are. I'm gonna start with Justin.
Okay.
Hi, Justin. You're great.
Hi, Colin. You're great.
Hey.
Can I say something nice about you?
Sure.
Okay. One thing that I noticed this week. First of all, great stuff from everybody. But one thing that I loved this week was that Dexy, in sort of a maternal sense, I've started to pick up that she uses maternal language and like calls us dear and little one and shit like that, which is really, really nicely done. That was just a highlight for me this week. I mean, other than everything else that happened and fucking Lonnie breaking my heart. So
yeah, it's honestly your fault because you called Dexy mom in the first episode, and I'm like, I'm just gonna lean into that. I'm just gonna completely lean into that. I also love though that in the first episode, you said "I love you" to Dexy. In the first episode, and at that
like
time it was kind of weird and funny as a throwaway. But now you said it to her the first time you met her in a flashback, which I love.
I also love that I found out that River's name comes from this group, which I didn't realize until it happened. That they're like, "What's your name?" She's like, "I came from the river."
Okay.
Swooped in there, just took that chance.
By the way, there was no way you could have known this, but like my headcanon, I'm like, how do I find a way to make this make sense? And I couldn't think of one to make it make sense. But one of the sad ghosts that River saw by the river was Soda's friend. Was Harlan. That's where he died.
A little Easter egg for people paying attention.
Yeah, well, I couldn't think of how to make it make sense because River wasn't gonna like. So I saw this man who was about 6'2" and a broad-shouldered black man. Like that wouldn't make sense.
And he said, "Hey, do you know somebody?
Do you know someone named Soda Pop?"
Named Soda Pop?
So that didn't make any sense. But yeah, that was headcanon. Yeah, I loved River's. I've been to a Florence and the Machine concert, and that's exactly how I pictured her at the bridge, just flowing
arms and sure,
delightful. I love that whole. Yeah, there's layers. There's layers to River. I'm glad we got to explore.
There's layers, and this week I feel like they really started like bubbling up, which makes me really excited because some of them I didn't expect. Like I'm like, oh shit, okay, oh. So
isn't it
that's
fun
beautiful.
when you can just let a character surprise you? You know?
I love it. I love it so much.
So what you got going on, Justin? Yeah.
I got this. Which we think this might be a 4-episode thing. We might stretch into.
It might have to be.
We might have to be. But and then back to Impossible Landscapes here on Thursdays with this crew plus our friend Sam, and just government agents who found out that nothing is real and they're being pursued by the people they thought they trusted, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great season of Impossible Landscapes, and that starts, I guess, the second Thursday in February. On Tuesdays, I have joined the cast of Star Trek Adventures: The Shackleton Expanse over on Modifius's Twitch channel. They're the home stretch, which is weird. So I jumped on for like the last closing arc, which means that my character on the show, who is an alien, they made first contact. He went to their starship, and then they lost their starship to an uprising by the Klingons in a major historical event, and had to leave. So his first day at work was pretty shitty. But every Tuesday, I'll be on Modifius playing that. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern because it's on UK time. So if you got nothing to do during work, come and watch. Whatever.
Righteous. All right. Thanks, buddy. See you next week.
Thanks, buddy. Love you.
Love you, Lonnie.
Love you, Mom.
What's up, Lonnie? Oh, you blessed little fucking cinnamon roll. Oh, you made me cry. I didn't know I was gonna play with your dead friend, but I'm glad I did. And I'm also glad that I made a decision that totally worked in the moment, but I was realizing something we'd never talked about before, which is that we talked about how like the mushrooms make it seem like you're going between life and death, but I decided in the moment to be like, well, what if you could actually like temporarily hear ghosts when you use them? Which I thought was a great way to sneak in your dead friend, and the way that you responded to that was so good. It was so good. That was just so beautiful.
As soon as you brought up Mika too, and I was just like, I I had my cute little like crush moment, and now I'm just gonna have my heart torn out. Okay.
Time to be sad.
But
I
I'm
saw
really
Justin say in chat during that like, what you said something like, I didn't think Colin was going to go this hard this week. I didn't either.
Wow, you went hard.
You surprised all of us.
At grief and loss.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you responded to that so well. Yeah, you had this was such an interesting episode for Cricket because you had two such massive polar swings of feels. From like, yeah, cute crush thing that your mom is trying to interrogate you about.
She's not interrogating me per se. She's warning me and checking in on me, but she's not like, who is this?
And not every day though you get the warning that the girl you have a crush on might not be able to feel feelings, but that's where you're at.
Also, where like it's so interesting that in the end it ended up tying back to my near-death experience with River being the one to save me, because I have seen that side of River where she is trying to guide you and be supportive. So even if now she's sitting there and singing Dilly Dally Sally and talking about how the air smells like monster teeth, I know there's that side of her too, and I kind of like try to read between the lines a little bit, and that's kind of where that even comes from. Because it's not like just one day she's like, oh yeah, she said something about the air tasting like chocolate, and now I'm in love. It's like, you know,
that's
there's that one moment and then go off there. So
absolutely delightful. Thank you, Lonnie. What's up with you?
Well, I next week I'll be back here. I will be in a different place, but I don't know if you'll be able to tell with the background. But I will be streaming from Hawaii, because I'm visiting my friend and sleeping on her couch for a week. And it'll be a 3 p.m. stream when I'm there instead of, or no, a 3 p.m. stream instead of a 8 p.m. stream, which will be very weird. But I love this group so much, and I am willing to do it. So I will be here again next week, and if we're doing the week after that too, hopefully my plane gets back in time, because I think that's the day that I'm coming back. And then so far all I know is when Blades in the Dark starts back up again. But I did apply for some stuff for the February one-shots over on Lost Caravan. So we'll see how that goes too. But either way, I am just so happy to be included in all of this. So very content.
It wouldn't be the same without you. Wouldn't be anything without you. That's not true, I guess. It would still be something, but not as good.
You all still did season 1 of Delta Green without me, so I know for a fact that y'all are still absolutely fantastic without me, but it's nice to be included.
Cricket is the heart of this. Cricket is like the moral center of this group that is very
actually
needed.
So funny, because I really wanted her to be like scrappy and like confrontative, and then I kind of just like over time was like, no, she's happy she found a family. She wants to do whatever she can to keep these people around, because people don't always stay, and she wants these people to stay. So it has been, I've been learning things about my character too.
Yeah. And I gave you a ghost family there for a minute, and that was fun.
Yeah, you gave me a ghost family, and also just the fact that you had us, like, your session zeros were so thorough with, like, all the questions and everything like that, that I already, like, I feel like I'm exploring Cricket instead of, like, oh, I don't really like that, I'm just gonna change it, but, like, instead it's like, no, like, she would want this, and I'm, like, thinking about it as her, so that's also props to you for prepping us so much.
That's why I do my session zeros that way. I want you to know who the person is. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you next week.
Thank you.
What's up, Jana? How you doing? Let's see. Soda moment of the week. I mean, I laughed because I didn't realize what you were planning to do, but when you, it's not. I mean, think about this from my perspective. You're like, for my downtime activity, I want to reduce heat. Anyway, I'm gonna leave with my rifle now. I'm like, wait, what? The fuck are you doing? But oh, that was fun. You killed a cop.
I killed the cop. I didn't mean to kill the cop, but I totally did.
Didn't mean to kill the cop. You sure did. You sure did. And your flashback fight with Rust was so fucking funny. It's so funny how incompetent Soda is at fist fighting, but how badass you are with a sniper rifle. You really got to see both sides of the spectrum with Soda.
I think the funny part about it is I kind of imagine that like Rust and Soda are always constantly scrapping, and he's always, of course, winning. Like, all the time, but it doesn't matter because it's just a friend thing. They just constantly scrap. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not good at arm wrestling, but she can blow your face off. Oh, so good. So what's up with you?
Nothing really for me. I guess I should plug the fact that I'm Cyberella Draws, and I'm that on my Twitter and my Blue Sky, and then my Tumblr is Sitchild because I'm inconsistent. And I've already put up the artwork on Twitter for this, so check that out if people want to see it. I've drawn a lot of stuff, and I'm going to be drawing more stuff. I even drew, like, another Soda. Well,
ooh.
maybe she'll show.
By the way, I save every single thing that you draw. I have a folder on my Google Drive dedicated to just everything that you draw.
But yeah, okay. Other than that, I'm here. This is where you'll find me.
Righteous. And finally, Turkington. Bless you, my boy. Oh my god, both of your fight scenes were so good. I love that you're Rust, so you got 2 fight scenes in one episode, obviously. But the fucking fight with Marlene was so fucking good. I was delighted.
The give and take between you two during that scene was a delight. Like, I was losing my shit at how good it was.
Oh dear, yeah. Also, it goes. Turk's a professional role player, and I'll tell you why. Because when I play with Turk, and I drop you in your first scene in the episode, and I just say you're naked, you just roll with it. There wasn't no like, am I? No, you're like, yeah, okay, so I'm naked, yeah. And then because of that, you became known as River's friend with a penis for the entire episode, which is delightful. Everybody saw your schwanz, and he was just fine with that.
He is the one who has a penis.
That's true.
Feel.
So yeah, what's up with you, man?
Oh gosh, I am back to being busy, at least for a little bit. But because if you don't know, I am Turk, or Turk Accented, on several hell sites, and in real hell as well. But coming up this next week, I've got 4 games across 4 days. Because on Monday, I'll be over on Neon Lights, where I'll be running the next session of Oathsworn as the Dragon Lords. Should be a good role-playing episode. Maybe some combat, who knows? They just had a really big mega dungeon we streamed last time. It's not really a mega dungeon. It just was one long, protracted fight, but they procced the whole dungeon at once. It was fun. And lava. Everything's better with lava. And then I'll be back here on the 23rd. I'll be running the next iteration of Caravan of Cthulhu. We're running, oh gosh, I think it's called... it's not like... What's it called when a boat is abandoned and is just kind of drifting at sea?
Flotsam?
Yeah, but like the dirigible
Derelict?
or something. The Derelict, yes. It's the scenario called the Derelict from the modern era Cthulhu thing. It's great. It's going to involve a bunch of rich assholes being terrorized. So, yeah. Then on the 24th, back to Neon Lights, where I am going to be a big space marine in By His Shadowed Peace. And then I'll be back here on the 25th Think more things coming up in the future, of course. More Call of Cthulhu, more Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, more this and Delta Green, and good stuff in the pipeline. I'm certain. And yeah, just keep your keep following me on socials. As I really only revlog things I like or that I'm going to be in. So that's really it. Support the people you see on your screen here, or else I'll think less of you slightly. Not too much.
Oh,
We all have our limits.
that's commitment, bud. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm but they're all incredible people, so go check them
Yeah,
out.
there, bud.
Hey there, bud.
Hey there, thanks,
Later,
there.
bud.
Hey, Colin there, bud. You
Yeah,
got
what's
anything
up?
coming up
Hey,
there,
cool.
pal?
Do I got any? Nah. Nah. No.
All right.
Yeah. But no, that is all for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a delight being your desk master this evening. Do stick around because we're going to be rating Dark Tales.
Woo.
So yeah, good night. We'll see you next week.